The following is a presentation of the iRacing Esports Network.
This season marks a new beginning. New heights will be reached. New records will be broken. A new champion will be crowned. Competition, commitment, excitement, This is Lionheart. You're watching the premier American open wheel series on iRacing. The Lionheart IndyCar Series presented by First Medical Equipment starts now.
Season 6 in the Lionheart IndyCar Series has been the most exciting in the league's history. 23 races across different types of tracks, from the 3/4 mile Richmond Raceway to last week's in the sprawling hills of Wisconsin at the 4-mile Road America course. Every race, every lap has built up to race 24 of this season. Adam Blocker, Andrew Kinsella, and Dan Guerin all come into the race tonight championship eligible. Andrew has backed up his impressive rookie campaign from last season's third place points finish with sitting second in points this season, bringing home 3 victories. Dandy Dan Guerin, as he is referenced around the league, he's got to have the feel-good story of this championship race. The first half of his year was a complete nightmare. Race after race just did not go his way. But now from the halfway point, he has racked off 3 victories and 8 poles on the season, putting him in contention. Adam Blocker has been in control of the points since the midway point of the season. 9 victories has propelled the Adrenaline Motorsports driver to the cusp of his first Lionheart Series championship. All of these stats, however, don't help a driver in the 150 grueling laps at the Auto Club Speedway here tonight. Who will taste victory? Who will have to wait another year? We will have all those answers for you and more live on our flag-to-flag simulated Dallara IR18 coverage as it happens right here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. A big California dreamin' hello and welcome to another GSRC broadcast via the iRacing Esports Network. Over the next 15 minutes on a countdown to green presented by the Sim Pit, we'll bring you all the storylines, stats, facts, and even some things you didn't think you needed to know to fully understand and appreciate the Gray Matter 300 tonight, the third leg in the Lionheart IndyCar Series Triple Crowns. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm Brian Yazik, filling in for Bill Soup Zahn, and I'm joined by former real-world IndyCar driver Richie Hearn in the booth. Down in the director's chair, flipping the switches, moving the dials, and making us sound twice as good as we really look is the one and only Amjad Yaman, who is using cameras provided to us by the legendary Dougie Beard. Richie, Auto Club is wide open, bad fast. You can stack them up 5 wide down the front stretch, and the long sweeping corners invite the drivers to just send it right in there every single lap. Tell us how you would attack the Auto Club Speedway based on your real world and your virtual experience.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. And first, let me talk about the Sim Pit. The Sim Pit's an entertainment channel dedicated to sim racing. Its focus is to bring you news, reviews, and information from around the world about sim racing hardware and software. It also focuses on what it takes to be a better sim racer with its instructional video, and the how-tos will help you perform on the virtual track. Check it out at thesimpit.com. And yes, here we are at Auto Club Speedway, located on the former Ontario Motor Speedway and Riverside International Raceway, right in that same area. The track is owned and operated by ISC. The speedway is served by the nearby Interstate 10 and Interstate 15 freeways, as well as the Metrolink station close to the backstretch. I've been here for the real world and on the virtual world, and it's great to see this championship come down to the last race at this track, just like it was when I was racing. This track is super fast. It's 2-mile D-shaped oval, 14-degree bankings on the turns, front stretch at 11, back stretch at 3 degrees. On January 10th, the 1997 Marlboro Team Penske driver Paul Tracy became the first driver to test on the new speedway, and the track record, which probably will never be broken, is 241.428 miles per hour set by Gilles de Ferran back in 2000 in the kart series. We got a fuel window of about 37 to 40 laps, but probably the best way to take a good look at this track is let's jump on board the IndyCar and the GSRC lap car.
Hello, this is L. Bryce Whitson Jr. coming to you from the Global Sim Racing channel Dallara DW12 here at the Auto Club Speedway. So coming out of the pits, we're going to get right up here next to this wall in order to get as much speed as we can through the corner, because as you'll find, the longer this car runs, about the faster you're going to go. We're going to get up to about 4th gear going down this back stretch, getting ready to go into turn 3. At this point in time, we're just going to ease it down in here into turn 3 and just barely get down near that bottom seam. Coming off the corner, we're going to watch our RPMs, watch for our steering wheel to blink, shift up to gear 5, and here we go. The key to this car is to be as smooth as you can. So somewhere between the 1 and the 2, you're going to start turning down into the corner. You're going to just tap that downshift until you can shift into 4th, and then wait until it blinks again coming up off of 2 and shift back up to 5. Again, down into turn 3, we're going to start tapping that shifter to get down into 4th gear. Let it shift down there as soon as it wants to, and then let it drift off coming off of turn 4. As soon as your shifter blinks, you're going to shift back up to gear 5. Now this is going to work great for your qualifying laps and for your practice laps. Once you get into the pack, though, you're not going to have that option to downshift in the center of the corner because you're going to be carrying so much more speed. Your key once you're in the pack is to follow the guy in front of you and use his draft to your advantage. You'll find out even that while you're in the pack, you're going to be using 5th gear and 6th gear more than you are 4th and 5th. So this car is not going to give up a lot of grip on you, except possibly start getting a little bit loose coming off the corner as you get into the run and that fuel load gets a little lighter. Speaking of fuel, you're going to get somewhere around 40 laps of fuel in this car. So that gives you about 40 laps to think about what you're going to do on this pit stop. So here we are, we're going to come down the back stretch and take it down into the pits. Again, in this car, we're going to be coming into the pits super fast and super smooth. Really chalk those brakes down 55 mile an hour, and down the pit road we go. So that, folks, is a couple laps around Auto Club Super Speedway in the Dallara DW12, brought to you by the Global Sim Racing channel.
And there you see the track guide here around the Auto Club Speedway in the DW12, because they sent me out earlier to run around the IR18 for the track guide, and I kind of crashed it. So we're just going to move on from that. We're going to jump right into the main event here. We're going to go right into the driver standings, just so you can see just how close this battle really is amongst the top 3. So as you will see on your screen right now, look at that. Adam Blocker on top. Andrew Kinsella, 38 markers back. Dandy Dan Guerin back there, 39 markers back. That's really the big focus right there tonight. Those top 3 are the only ones that can really get in there and fight for the championship. Michael Goodman with a good season. Well, we know who's in 5th. Number 6 there, Justin Weaver, Stephen Larkamp, and those two are having a ferocious Rookie of the Year battle as well. That I'll have Richie talk about here. But there you see on the screen, we won't jump through everything. We're just going to go right to the team standings. And on the screen right now, there we go. Adrenaline Motorsport pretty much locked up the team championship this year with Adam Blocker, Joe Branch, Andrew Kinsella, Tony Schauer, and Chris Stouffer. They had a well-rounded roster and then pretty much covered everywhere they go. Synergy Motorsports with an amazing debut season for them, being P2 in the driver standings. P3 there, No Name Racing, the former back-to-back drivers champions, or team champions. Controlled Chaos Racing 4th, 8-Ball Motorsports there, rounding out your top 5. Richie, let's talk about this amazing rookie battle that we have going on here between Justin Weaver and Stephen Larkamp.
Yeah, it's definitely coming down to the last race of the season. These guys might as well be tied. They've been going back and forth all year. It's been exciting to watch. But yes, Justin Weaver, car number 66, sitting on top right now to 805 points. Second place, Stephen Larkamp, right behind him with only 3 points behind. Samuel Ryman's having a good season, but he's a little too far off, so he's pretty much going to be stuck in that 3rd position with Groff, Johnson. Beard has moved up 1 spot to 6th, and Workman did lose that 1 spot, but the focus is all going to be on those 2 guys. And every race, they've been right next to each other, so that'll be something to follow as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to go on tonight. Stick around after the race. We have a full, robust post-race show. It's not your typical robust, or it's not your typical typical post-race show where we're just going to talk around and interview people. We got a whole slew of things going on, so stick around afterwards. It's going to be wonderful. Here we go. About 4 seconds left. This is the first race in Lionheart Series with the new day to night transition. Richie, when you were a driver and you raced in these situations where it was that transition from late afternoon to evening to night, how did that affect you as a driver? Did it really mess with your visuals, or was it just a sensation thing?
It's most of a sensation thing. You just had to be prepared for the night running. I actually loved racing at night. We used to race at Richmond at night, and the cars just look incredible with the brakes glowing and things like that. Obviously, here we're not on the brakes anywhere, but it'll be cool to see. I'm excited to see that. I've done some practicing with the day-night transition, and it's really awesome to see. It's really for some of these guys, it might be a little bit of transition. Just trying to get used to the way the car handles, because it does change a little bit, not drastically, but it does change. And this is a fixed setup, so they don't have all the changes in the cars that they can work with. And so they just might have to change their line and the way they approach the corners as it gets darker.
Yeah, I mean, I could see what you're talking about, especially because if you're used to the buildup, and you might be used to a certain visual cue from that rubber buildup, and then the night that switches around. The other thing that we're going to be paying attention to, the track temperature right now, from the start of practice, it was at about 80 degrees. And then as it's transitioned more slowly into the late California evening into the night, the temperature's already dropped off 3 degrees. So the biggest thing, that's going to put a lot of grip back into the cars. Especially the biggest thing with this IR18 is the aero wash that could happen, depending on how the setup is built. You see George Anzaldo right there with our Viva Motorsport onboard camera. It's a nice little plug right there. Viva Motorsports. They specialize in motorsport inspired items, ranging from custom etched glasses, track decals, more. Everything is designed for the motorsports enthusiast in mind, crafted with care and love in all stages of the production. I'll tell you what, I've been bugging my wife for Christmas about going into these things, and I most importantly told her, use the promo code Lionheart for 10% off all orders at divamotorsport.etsy.com. There's George ranking in there. 7th right now. Is that the money lab? We're going to jump over to Park Rubin. 8th. All right. I got to get... Oh, here we go. Right now, worth mentioning, Dan Guerin is on pole. The reason that's worth mentioning is the pole is worth 1 bonus point. So especially when it breaks down, Adam Blocker really, he holds the cards, he holds his fate in his hand. The easiest thing that he really needs to keep in mind is if he finishes about 5th or better, it's his. Really, when it breaks down, it's 5th or better is his. But every point that Dan can chip away, that's what's going to help that out. So being on pole right now, that 1 bonus point. We saw it a couple weeks ago in the Retro Series finale. That 1 bonus point carried all of the weight to decide a champion. Ooh, shots fired. Look at the new pole setter. Adam Blocker, championship on the line. That's when you put up the big numbers. P1 for the driver of that number 74 machine. So we got floating around out there. Give me someone to talk about, Pierre. Tutwiler's still making a lap. Scott Bolster, Michigan recent, he's getting married next year, so that's good for him.
Yeah, for Adam Blocker, probably the best way to do this is just get up front and just take off. I mean, he smoked everybody last week at Road America, kind of doing that. I mean, the pressure's on him to not make the mistake. Andrew and Darren have got to attack, so sometimes that just lets you relax a little bit more and just go. And it'll be interesting to see how they play through the lap traffic and see how these guys, the lap traffic plays with them as well. Who's friends with who?
I think you're absolutely right there, Richie. Adam is at a spot where he can be offensive and he can be defensive, because he doesn't have to win the race, but by him being on the front row, that sends a very clear message to his championship rivals. Because you look back, Andrew Kinsella, where is he? Oh, wow. 27 on the grid for Andrew Kinsella. Now, Andrew has a knack of being able to get up to the field, so I'm not putting too much into that, especially as long of a race as we have tonight, as big as California or Auto Club Speedway is. But I mean, that's got us. If think about it, I mean, put yourself in Dan's spot. If you're, you've got 8 poles on the year, and you're calling your bread and butter for starting up front, and the guy that you're chasing in the championship puts it 1 right in front of you.
Yeah, Andrew's struggled a little lately in qualifying. I mean, he's had some good races, but he's really had to work hard to get up front, and it caught him a little bit out last week, where he had to drive so hard that he made some mistakes, and he admitted it. He said he told me he drove a little too hard. And
sorry.
No, I was going to say, I mean, so that qualifying is going to hurt him, and it just puts him in danger for having an incident with somebody. I mean, if he has a wreck early on, it's over for him.
Well, and with qualifying wrapping up, it's time to go racing, kids. We've got, and you know what? When it's time to go racing, hppsimulation.com for our HPP simulation starting grid. hppsimulation.com. Nothing beats the feel of a true hydraulic braking system from HPP Simulation. I will tell you that right up front. I've got it set right underneath my feet right now. Designed and manufactured in the USA from state-of-the-art CNC equipment, HPP hydraulic press and their accessories set the standard for simulation racing. For more information, please visit hppsimulation.com. So we kind of spoiled it with the front row, but Adam Blocker, Dan Guerin up there in P1 and P2. You got Michael Goodman up there in the P3, followed by the Candyman, Dustin Wardlow in 4th, Brian Beard in the 5th spot with Ron Hacker to his outside, Connor Harrington in 7th, Chris Lanini in 8th, Pierre Daigle making his 100th start tonight. He wanted me to make mention of that in there in the 9th spot, and Joe Flanagan outside in P10.
Yeah, coming up in P11 will be Ken Hacker. Right next to him will be Big Joe Hasser. Next row up will be George Anzaldo and Brandon Limkeman. Behind them will be Tony Schoen and Justin Weaver, one of our Rookie of the Year championship contenders. Behind them will be Paul Jenkins, and Steven Larkamp is starting directly behind Justin Weaver in that 18th spot. Joe Branch in 19th and Tyler Groff in 20th.
In Blackjack 21, we have Matthew Mercer with GSRC's own Sam Ryman out there in P22. Ed Tutwiler right there in the inside of row 12 with Bart Rookman at 24th. Scott Bolster, 25th. David Altman making a appearance in the IndyCar Series. You might recognize that name from the Retro Series. Andrew Havacatch-Kinsell, they're 14th in P27. Robert Blue in 28th, Christopher 29th, and James Brahula, P30.
Yeah, rounding out the rest of the field will be Scotty Johnson, 31st, Isaiah Dupree, 32nd, Mike Rigney, 33rd, and Brian Greenlee in 34th. So we got a big field out here.
34 simulated cars. Oh, I can't wait. I mean, this is going to be nuts. We've got so many things to keep track of in this race. We've got the driver spotlight. Also, we'll hit on that later on. A quick weather report, like we said, 77 degrees, partly cloudy. The race is starting 6:45 with a 20% humidity, winds 2 miles an hour to the north, basically blowing from turn 2 to the front stretch. So if you kind of think, or from the back stretch directly across to the front stretch. Richie, we got a heck of a show here, man. You ready?
We are ready. We're all lined up, and 150 laps here, and let's do it.
Oh, I've been waiting for this. I've been thinking about this call all day. How do we do this? And there's only one way to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, let's get ready to send it! Green flag is in the air. Adam Blocker getting the jump out. Dan Guerin jumping in immediately right behind him. This top 4 going to start to settle out. What do you see back there in the middle of the pack, Richie?
Yeah, it looks like everybody's kind of settling up. Too wide, not too crazy. It is a long race. It's going to take a little bit to build up speed. You're not going to be able to run away from anybody, as we got Dan Guerin trying to make a move on Adam Blocker at the moment. He's also bringing along with him, looks like Michael Goodman and Dustin Wardlow.
Dustin Wardlow being a teammate there at Synergy Motorsports, Candyman and Dan Guerin trying to make that top side work. But I tell you what, Dustin's got ideas of his own. He's going to jump all the way up to the top and take it 3 wide, going off into turn 1 for the lead. Blocker holding the bottom.
Yeah, right now a lot of grip out there. You can see the sun starting to go down, but not be able to make that move as Dan Guerin is trying to make that move. Adam's just going to hug that white line and make these guys go the long way around. But you can see the pack start coming up to him. So we're going to have a whole hive of bees coming up.
Yeah, I mean, you say it best. They were running out by themselves, and then, all of a sudden they start getting side by side, and now that front pack of 3 is it's jumped up to about 12 back there as we're seeing here. But still, You sat the side-by-side up there, Adam Blocker, Dan Guerin trying to battle it out. And you see Dustin. I bet you Dustin's jumping up there in the top lane. He's just trying to keep his nose clean.
Yeah, Dan Guerin's trying to keep Dustin behind him as Dustin tried to go to the outside lane and Dan Guerin moved up. So I don't know if that's strategy or Dustin's just doing his own thing. Dan's definitely trying to get that pass done. It's hard around here. When these tires are this good, it's easy to hold that inside lane, but Dustin's trying to go on the outside once again. But all this traffic, all this drafting that they're doing in side-by-side racing is bringing that pack right up to him.
It absolutely is. I mean, you still got 3 wide up there. I mean, still battling it out. You see Goodman hanging out there. He's trying to find a spot to run. Brian Beard up there in the 5th position as well. And then you see it coming to run from the bottom. There's Ron Hacker. I mean, you're right. With the tires being fresh, I mean, I fought that out myself trying to fight that bottom. But I mean, if you're Dan, do you think you have Adam kind of right where you want him? You're hanging out there right to the right side of that pod.
Well, like we said earlier, Adam's just he's in the main position. You just got to stay clean. As Dustin Wardlow is going to try to go once again right around the outside. They're going 3 wide, but Adam doesn't really have to do anything but just hold his position. All the pressure's on Dan and Andrew Kinsella, who has not done much work. He's now in 25th position, started 27th, so I don't know if he's just trying to be careful, but he hasn't moved up much yet.
Let's jump back and take a real quick look at the driver of that number 41 machine. Let's kind of see what he's seeing right now as these guys come off a turn 2. I mean, yeah, that's what he's staring at. And you've got all of the, all of the room to run, but you kind of have nowhere to go. Because think about it, you're back there, you're behind 26 other cars, dirty air. That's just not what the front of this car needs.
No, they definitely don't want to be running in that type of field. This car's not going to handle very good, and it's going to wear those tires out a little bit too quickly. But right now, it's got a long ways to go. We've got lap 7 of 150. So we're going to have a few pit stops. So hopefully we see some green flag pit stops. And everybody's doing a good job, just staying clean.
Yeah, that's the big part. I mean, these Auto Club races, they tend to, you might see a caution early, but then you'll see a... Oh, Beard hanging on to it. He's on the front stretch, just as I was talking about it down in the grass. Woo, that's a pucker moment. Going to the GSRC replay here. And you'll kind of see here, Richie, I mean, as soon as he was trying to cut it as low as possible, but he caught that apron. Oh, he got a little bit loose before that, didn't he?
Yeah, it looks like he was trying to cut it down and a little too much steering in the draft. Got a little loose, got on the transition. Fortunately, no harm, no foul. He's just going to lose a lot of track position, but we're still green.
That's the important part. He didn't damage the car. He didn't wreck it. He didn't bring out a caution. He was able to keep it all contained and everything of that variety. Oh, put it out! Oh. Caution is out. It's out of turn 2. Big wreck. Big Joe. Oh, goodness.
Catching a lot of cars in that mess there. There we go.
John Zaldo. Oh, Big Joe. Oh. Big Joe. What happened to Big Joe?
Yeah, it might have been a little bit of a net code issue, but once he did that, he caught a lot of people.
I think you're right there. Is he caught? Who is he racing? Because Big Joe got touched by Ken Hacker.
There he goes, right in the wall, and then he just starts bouncing around. George gets spun, gets clipped by somebody else, and it's just chaos after that. Looking at our championship contender, Andrew Kinsella.
My God. Go watch the replay of Kinsella. He may have caught the wall, but
he's got a tiny bit of damage on his front wing, but everything's pointing in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, that could have been much worse. Matthew Mercer was also involved. Brian Greenlee was in it. Tony Schoen, Ed Tutwiler. Now watch this onboard here from Andrew. This could have been much worse, boys and girls.
Oh yeah, that was just a reactionary moment. Didn't clip the wall a little bit. bent his front wing, but nothing too bad that they can't fix. And we do have some guys taking some pit stops here.
Yeah, about pretty split decision. Joe Branch was the first one to peel off, and he took pretty much everyone back behind him, dove onto pit road. So now we get to kind of see the interesting strategy play out of, is tires going to matter? Because 10 laps on these tires, I mean, that could be something. It just depends on how good and how quick you can kind of get to the clean air.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I've said that before on here, and then I'm always proven wrong. But I think the biggest thing is just opens up that pit window. So if we were going 40 laps before, this is going to stretch that out and give you a little more option if some other yellows come out. So it's not a bad play for some of those guys. I mean, if you're running up front, you want to be in that clean air, so it's a no-brainer to stay out. But if you're in the back, why not?
Yeah, I mean, if you were running mid-pack on back, sure, you got nothing to lose. You could just see a whole bunch of guys just take up a whole bunch of different room there. Just take up, different spots. Oh, wow. Quick pace lap because there was no lap down cars. So we are already 1 to green here. So here we go. Adam Blocker in control of the field, working their way through turn 4. Pace car is going to dive out of the way, give the field back to Blocker. Kind of keeping that middle lane, keeping it down, keeping him in check. Oh, he's going to wait real long, but there he goes onto the pedal. Green flag back into the air, and here we go. He used that staggered start there, got himself a little bit of room. Now Richie, though, Dan's going to be able to ride right in his draft off of turn 2. I mean, do you think maybe that might have, being the leader, you don't really have a good choice, but what would you have done there?
I probably would have done the same. It's so early in the race. It's not going to matter much. You just want to get a clean start. You just got to get down to that white line, and he's seen Dan try to make that pass on the outside, and he hasn't been able to get it done. So just hug that white line as long as you can, as long as your car will let you, and just see what happens. I mean, Dan's trying right now, and he just can't quite get it done as they go into turn 1.
Boy, they were trying to look to go 4 wide. Who was that jumping up on the high side of Dustin? That was Connor Harrington.
Yeah, Connor Harrington's done a good job getting up there, and he's shown to be pretty aggressive. So he's not in the championship fight, so he's just looking for a win.
Absolutely. He's got nothing to lose. I think he will be a contender next year, though, if he does come back for the full campaign. I just don't know 100% if he will or not.
It's interesting to see Dan go into the corner next to Adam, but his teammate Dustin Warlow going up high, and every time I see that, I see kind of Dan move up and almost try to block him out. So, he doesn't want to give Dustin any track position, and Dustin's not really helping him out much by doing that.
Well, I mean, where Dustin's at, he really, he can't really help out all that much. I mean, the best he can do is maybe get up and get a run there, but, Andrew Kinsella back onto pit road. That is championship implications right there. Maybe the damage was a little bit more than we thought from hitting the wall there, avoiding the accident, but the car looks mostly...
Either that or he got a penalty.
Either that, yeah, or is there suspension? I mean, there's some side pod damage that I see.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see that earlier, so I don't know if he had some contact with somebody, but he's definitely going to go lap down here. And unfortunately, that's going to probably take him out unless something happens to these other 2 gentlemen.
Yeah, now he's going 2 laps down, so that's pretty much going to put a damper on the championship hopes for the Canadian driver there of Andrew Kinsella. But now, I mean, you're looking at it right up front. That's your championship battle. That's your battle for the race win. You've got everything going on right at the front of the field. Of the drivers that pitted last time by, Justin Weaver in that Rookie of the Year battle, he is in the just got up to the P10 spot and did have the fastest lap last time by too. And you see him, that white and blue car at the back of that pack right there. Maybe fresh tires. I mean, that might be something here.
Yeah. Every time I say it doesn't matter, it matters. And every time I say it matters, it doesn't matter. So I'm just not going to comment.
Well, I think I won a race at Michigan where you said that I made the wrong call. I remember that call up in the booth.
I know. And that's why I'm not going to guess that anymore. Would like to give a shout out to Christopher, who's started 29th, and he's moved himself all the way up to 8th position. albeit a lot of people pitted in front of him, but nice job to him.
Absolutely.
So we still see Dan Guerin trying to make that move. A little bit ago, I thought he had him clear, and he wasn't quite there, but he might have him clear right now.
I think he does clear, move Dan Guerin up to the lead, and that's where I think having the teammate behind him helped there a little bit, because that wasn't a draft that was given there, and then you see Adam get washed out in the wake of Dustin Wardlow. So there you got teammates, Synergy Motorsports 1-2 right now in the lead. Dan Guerin. Now Dan, he's got to focus probably on getting the most laps led to try to overcome that bonus point, because now he and Adam are both neutral on the, you get a bonus point for leading a lap, but Adam still has 1 bonus point for getting the pole. So now if you're Dan, your focus really has to shift on leading the most laps. That way that kind of evens back out.
Going to our rookie championship standings here, Justin Weaver has made his way all the way up to 7th position, doing a really good job trying to run that low line. His closest competitor, Steven Larkamp, is kind of stuck back there in 13th. Long ways to go, but give that advantage to Justin Weaver at the moment.
Yeah, and look at Weaver. He was able to get down to the bottom, but I think he washed out, because look at Christopher coming with a big run up the middle. Look at that. Just like he was shot out of a cannon there. He got 2 out of that corner, and now he's working on Ken Hacker for 5th. Christopher, in the span of one lap, moved up 3 spots, and he's going for more.
Yeah, sometimes you hit that draft just right, and you're able to just go right through the middle of them, and then take that inside line, and then focus on the next guy in front.
That was the right way to do it right there. Now Blocker, now that he's fallen back into the pack a little bit, Connor Harrington's gotten up around him to P3. And now you see Christopher going to the bottom there again and going to try and steal P4 away from Blocker. But Blocker's going to get that good run back on the high side. Like we said, for the championship side of things, where Blocker is running right now, it's his championship.
Yeah, we might be seeing a little bit of the result of him running that white line all the way around the track so early on. Not able to, maybe able to stay on the bottom, but you're scrubbing speed, and so he's losing that momentum. If you watch down the straightaway, you can see everybody's running that high line as the tires wear. Very few people are able to dive down to the bottom, as Justin Weaver is doing that at the moment, getting around Christopher. Oh, very close between Weaver and Stouffer. But for the most part, everybody's moving up.
Well, we're keeping our eyes on that. Some guy that did go down to the bottom was Dustin Wardlow. Jumped down underneath Dan Guerin in turns 3 and 4. Got the lead. Dan was able to draft right back up there and get him back in 1-2. I wonder if these guys are working on swap drafting a little bit to kind of separate themselves out. And that's kind of what it looks like to me. They're kind of exchanging spots on purpose. But what that's doing is that's opening up at least about a let's say half a second advantage over the 3rd position of Connor Harrington.
Yeah, if you can work that correctly, it works really well. So if you have a teammate on another channel you can talk to, it's smart, because the less people they have in that pack, the less people they have to worry about.
Yeah, and they've definitely settled out. The top 5 has really settled out. Back to Justin Weaver now. Like I said, highest up there of the drivers that pitted. He's got about 10 laps fresher tires and 10 laps more fuel. So that's really going to come in play here, because we're at lap 25 of this run for the guys that have stayed out. Now a little bit of caution laps, call that a 2-1. I mean, these guys will probably be pitting everywhere right around lap 40, whereas Weaver and Limkeman, Isaiah Dupree, Steven Larkamp, those guys can really stretch it out another 10 laps.
Yeah, what that does is gives you options. So, if it stays green and those guys pit under green, and then all of a sudden yellow comes out, obviously they're going to gain a lap on the field. So it wasn't a bad choice. Obviously, it's worked out for Justin Weaver so far, because he's moved all the way up to 5th spot, starting 16th.
Yeah, he's just working his way up through the field. There you see back there for the, where is I looking there, 6th spot, Brandon Limkeman and Ken Hacker. It looks like they're trying to do a swap draft back there too, and trying to get that out. Stouffer really has... Oh, Stouffer was on pit road. Something happened. I must have missed what happened to Stouffer. According to the chat, he caught the wall off of turn 2.
Yeah, I missed that too. He was having a hell of a run. And
Yeah, I just
there
looked
he
up
is
and he's on pit road in the 27th spot, and he's out of the car. So lots of
he's out
damage
the
there.
car. Got a few people that have exited the race. Big Joe and Joe Flanagan had some problems. Brian Greenlee looks like he's exited the race as well as James Krahula.
Yeah, Krahula is having some technical difficulties with his computer, and he's trying to make the grid. He was trying to get in there, and now he's just trying to show up and get some pride going there.
Well, I know these guys put a lot of effort into the practicing and stuff, so even though you know you don't have a chance to win, you want to get out there and run because you've practiced for it. So I understand that. I've been in that position.
Yeah, this is the pride. Andrew Kinsella back out there running. Unfortunately, 6 laps down in the 28th spot. I mean, barring the San Andreas fault opening virtually and a miracle happening, like I said earlier, I believe, unfortunately, his championship hopes have been dashed tonight.
Yeah, Justin Weaver has been able to get around Adam Blocker, so Adam Blocker's sitting in 5th position. They're going around Andrew Kinsella at the moment, so Justin Weaver moved up one more spot to 4th. Adam Blocker, got a long ways to go. Just probably taking it a little easy. If the tires went away, just find your space and wait for the next pit stop.
Absolutely. I mean, like we said earlier, where he's at right now, pretty much he's got the championship on lock by bonus points, even if Dan wins, because right now he holds a +1 advantage to that stand. So yeah, I mean, where he's at, just sit back, take care of the car. Your nearest competition is Brandon Limkeman back there. I mean, 10, 15 car lengths back. Just ride it right now and just let the race unfold as it will. As I was saying earlier, Auto Club in the Lionheart IndyCar Series, it tends to be you get a one caution early, maybe 1 or 2 early that bunches it up at the front, and then you get a really long run in the middle. And then towards the end, we might see a caution or 2 that might bunch everybody back up as well.
I'd like to go back to Dan Guerin, Dustin Wardlow. Those guys are still playing leapfrog. Haven't been able to separate too much from Connor Harrington. He's still, a half a second back. So Connor's been able to do a good job running on his own. He's running in clean air, so that's able to let him run the traditional line right down to the bottom and then back out to the outside wall. But they keep trying. It has separated. The front of the field is all separated out. Connor Harrington in 3rd, Justin Weaver in 4th. Adam Blocker's dropped off. He has Brandon Limkeman coming up on him, so he's got to worry about that a little bit. But everybody's separated out pretty much in the top 10.
Well, the biggest thing is with these IR18 Indy cars, they punch a bigger hole in the air. So from the driver's seat, where he's at, where Connor is off of in relation to Dustin, he could still feel a little bit of pull going forward. So that's maybe what helping that out. But I mean, these last 2 laps, Dan and Dustin have really stretched that out. So I think they found a magic mojo as the lights are on also here at the Auto Club Speedway.
Yeah, some of those shots that we've seen from Dougie Beard there, seeing the sunset go down, it's pretty cool to see. And pretty soon it'll be dark, and we'll be running completely under the lights.
And the track temperature, as Director Amjad has magnificently predicted post-race or pre-race, the track temperature has actually gone up. It is at 78 degrees for 77 when we drop the green rag here on the race. So if, we want to give Amjad any more props or praise, I mean, I don't think. I mean, if his head gets any bigger, we're not going to be able to get him out of that control booth. All right, let's find something else to talk about. We know the leaders are up there swap drafting. Who's a good hard charger? You know what? Let's go back to the 8th spot, and let's take a look at Isaiah Dupree. This guy, he did not take a time in qualifying, so I know Soup says that this doesn't count from the hard charger standings, but I'll tell you what. He dodged a wreck. He pitted. He's worked his way up from the 32nd starting spot up to the 8th spot, and he is working over Ken Hacker right now for 7th. So Isaiah, kind of a newcomer this year, but from what I remember seeing in the driver's seat, Goodman got a little squirrely off behind him. Isaiah really has a good mentality and can really keep it focused and really kind of drive his way up through the field. We've seen him do this plenty of times, if my memory serves me correct.
We do have one early taker on the pit stop. Samuel Ryman's come in for tires and fuel, so it's a little early considering we had those yellow flags. We do see Ed Tutwiler coming in, so maybe those tires are getting a little bit sketchy out there, and they figured they're close enough to that window and to kind of jump in and get some fresh rubber.
Well, and it seems like Sam is going to kind of take the undercut there, try and short pit that a little bit, because the leaders where they're sitting at, 38 laps on the track. I mean, with the caution, that's going to help that out. But like I said, these guys should be on pit road probably within the next 2 to 3 laps, I would imagine.
Yeah, so, keep an eye on the leader here. He's separated himself from Dustin Wardlow, so they're no longer playing that leapfrog game. But we'll keep an eye on him and just keep an eye on when Adam pits. I mean, Adam, if it was me, I'd just pit when Dan pits and just kind of stay with him on that same strategy.
Now, here's a curious thought. If you're Justin Weaver back there in the 4th spot, would you run your fuel out? Or now that you kind of use those fresh tires to gain all sorts of track position, would you pit with the leaders?
I would probably pit with the leaders at this point because, if something happens, yellow flag comes out, at least you're, with that group. It really depends on how your car's handling. I mean, if he's able to keep pace, not worrying about it too much, an extra lap or 2 is not going to hurt. But, like for someone like Samuel, kind of running mid-pack, or Ed, why not? You got to take a little chance sometimes to make it happen. But if you've worked your way all the way up to that 4th spot, you might as well just stick with it for the moment.
Yeah, it looks like Ed Tutwiler having some issues there as he's back on pit road after he was just on pit road. So I wonder, a speeding penalty? Oh, Dan Guerin to pit road as well as Dustin Wardlow. Oh, Dan getting him locked up to get down to the binders. He hit that line right at about 56 miles an hour. So I'll be curious if the sim is nice to him or not.
Yeah, he's coming to the pit lane. And Justin Weaver has stayed out. Obviously, he's on a different strategy. So he has 10 laps less or longer he can go. And that's going to put him in 2nd. Also, Connor Harrington. He is on the same strategy as the leader. He hasn't pitted yet, but he's going to stay out. Looks like he's slowing down. Yep. He's trying to
coming on pit road right now, getting it wound down, get to the mark. That looked pretty successful. Yeah, I think Dan had a speeding penalty. He's still sitting in the box, and Blocker and Dustin have been able to get away. So yeah, I think Dan hit that line just a little too hot. 20-second penalty should be, there he goes, rolling right, or 15-second speeding penalty. Now Dan's rolling.
Yeah, he's not gonna make him very happy. Did all that work to get in the lead, and now he's got to just get back up there, stay out of trouble. These are the type of things that determine championships, so it's gonna have to kind of watch that next time as they pit under green.
Well, and if you remember last year, Dan had a spin basically off of turn 2 early in the race and was able to fight back under green flag condition to pull a pretty good finish off. So I'm not super worried about where he's at right now. But yeah, I mean, early in the race, you can maybe afford a mistake a little bit, but you definitely don't want to make that come into the final pit stop.
No, and really all he has to worry about is where Adam is at the moment, and so he's just got to kind of chase him down. We got a long ways to go. We're only 44 laps into this 150 lap race, so there's time.
Yeah, right now, Justin Weaver, the top 10, 12, 13 are all guys that pitted on that first cycle. So now it'll be curious to see how the lap time shake out. Sam Ryman was actually the fastest the last time by. Weaver's been running 32:21. Pretty much everybody's in that same ballpark with him. And Dan rips off a 31:87 when he gets back up to speed. So definitely tires are the way he wants to go. But God, look at that gaggle that Dan is in. He's going to take it down to the bottom there of, what was that, Mercer in the 19? Not Mercer in the 19.
Justin Weaver still out front. He's got a few laps left to fuel that he can stay out there. Right next to him right behind him is Brandon Limkeman, who's on the same strategy as well. Right now, these guys are begging for a yellow flag. If they can get a yellow flag right now, they're going to catch a lot of these guys a lap down.
Well, and inadvertently, Justin Weaver has kind of become our guinea pig, because when we came off of pit road that last time, that was right to green flag. So what he's been able to run this time, we're going to get a pretty good idea of where exactly that fuel number is going to be as well. David Altman exiting pit road. Robert Bluin on pit road right now. Yeah, kind of everything is just cycling out. We're just kind of waiting to see what happens.
Biggest news so far is Andrew Kinsella having that problem early on, getting caught in that wreck, and then having some other problems 6 laps down. Adam Blocker, he's championship leader. He's just crossing the finish line going into turn 1. Dan Guerin with that penalty, a speeding penalty, who was leading, he is just crossing the finish line as well. So he's about a quarter of the track behind, and they're both a lap down at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, once that pits, I mean, there's basically a full straightaway between Blocker and Guerin right now, whereas before the pit stops, Guerin probably had 5 seconds over Blocker, give or take from that standpoint. But hey, we still got 103 laps to go in the event tonight, the Gray Matters 300, Lionheart IndyCar Series finale, Auto Club Speedway. Nice Wednesday night. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us here on the iRacing Esports Network, and via the with the Global Sim Racing channel on the call. Mike Rigney on pit road. That's a new name for tonight. I think he's getting kind of a one-off, maybe a little trial for maybe next year. And you see Matthew Mercer on pit road. Mercer was in the 19. I wasn't crazy. Well, more than usual. I caught you on that, Amjad.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, Justin Weaver's and Brandon Limkeman's going to be probably the guinea pigs, see how far they can really go. They're working lap 38, crossing the line for lap 39 at the minute. Earlier we said it was about 37 to 40 laps, so we'll see how far they can stretch it.
Limkeman and Dupree on pit roads, and with Larkamp, Beard. Oh, it's a feeding frenzy on pit road back behind them. So I would not surprise me to see Justin Weaver to pit road this time. So that's 40, let's call that 39 laps, 40 laps on a tank of fuel, with draft and with all that. But and you see Weaver, he's waving him off right now. He's going to hit pit road, bringing that number 66 machine down to pit road, hits the pit speed line perfectly.
Yep, his rookie championship contender there is just leaving his box, so he pitted the lap before.
That's a long pit road when you're used to cooking around here at 200 and something miles an hour, and now you have to slow down to 55.
Every second counts. I mean, at 220 miles an hour, you're going a football field a second. So that 15-second penalty that Dan Guerin had to sit. That's 15 football fields that he's lost just sitting on pit lane.
Yeah, I see Justin Weaver moving. Scotty Johnson in the not the 007. I saw 07 and my brain started to wander there. He's out there. He's pitting now. Okay, I was going to say, I mean, he maybe stretched that with a little bit of being in the back of the pack traffic-wise, but I'll tell you what, that strategy is going to work out really nice for Weaver, as he's going to end up just behind Adam Blocker. And then, so as this is all going to settle out, that should put Dustin Wardlow back into the lead, but he has a very hungry Connor Harrington right behind him going down the front stretch.
Yeah,
and actually, there you go. Connor jumping out to the lead, using Mercer there as kind of a pick of sorts. Because now there's Dustin getting caught up in the wash, and now Connor Harrington back out to the front for the first time tonight, I believe. Yep, first time tonight. Andrew up there in the fourth groove, just kind of making laps and trying to stay out of everybody's way. Just unfortunate when it comes down to that. So, all right. So now, after the pit stops, I'm going to let the 07 shake out here before we kind of run through here.
Yeah, Connor Harrington's doing a great job right up to that first position, starting 7th. He's battled his way up there. He's got Dustin Wardlow right behind him. Unfortunately, his teammate Dan Guerin. Here comes Dustin Wardlow, though. He's going to look to make a move on the inside. Going to reclaim that lead as we go into turn 1.
There you go, Dustin Wardlow back out front. So now that everybody has cycled back out, we got Dustin Wardlow in the lead, Connor Harrington in second, Justin Weaver using that pit strategy. He's jumped up to P3, and he's got the freshest tires of all of those drivers right now. So look for Weaver to put a stamp here on this part of the season for him. Adam Blocker riding out there in P4. Brandon Limkeman rounding out the top 5. 6th, Isaiah Dupree. 7th, Ron Hacker. 8th, Michael Goodman. Ken Hacker in the 9th position, rounding out your top 10. Dandy Dan Guerin. So he's still digging, about 11 seconds back off of the lead. So, you know, he's still got some time, but at the moment, we are going to take a quick commercial break, show you some nice pictures of people that make things go around here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The Sim Pit is an entertainment channel dedicated to the world of simulated motorsports. The Sim Pit is a leader in providing the sim racing community with news, reviews, interviews, DIY pieces, and instructional videos to make sim racing a better experience for all. Check us out at thesimpit.com or go to YouTube and just search for The Sim Pit.
welcome back to the Gray Matter 300 here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. You might be wondering what the Gray Matter 300 is. The Gray Matter is it's basically from the National Brain Tumor Society. So here we go. Brian Beard very graciously donating and sponsoring the event tonight. So the National Brain Tumor Society, they are fiercely committed to finding better treatments and ultimately a cure for people who are living with brain tumors, and anybody today or living with brain tumors today, and anybody who will be diagnosed tomorrow. And this means affecting change in the system at all levels. They are in a very unique spot to affect change across drug development, policy, legislative research, and clinical trials at all levels. They don't focus on one particular method or approach or whatever to defeat brain tumors. They just look at everything that they can do to make it work out. They're a wonderful, wonderful organization. Braintumor.org if you want to learn more about them and what they can do. And I'm sure that they have spots that you can donate, financial gains or different ways that you might be able to help out from there as well. Back to the front of the field. You may have seen this when we jumped, or when you see this under caution, or not under caution. Let me try that whole sentence again. Where you saw this under the break that we had, but Justin Weaver has leapfrogged himself into the lead, and he's got a very large gap over Connor Harrington. We were remarking off air under the commercial break there that with Weaver is in a very unique spot because he was able to use those fresh tires and that track position to really jump himself up there, because now he's up in the lead. He has the freshest tires. He has the most fuel. I mean, right now, barring a caution, Weaver is in a power position right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking advantage of that 10-lap fresher tires, and he has gotten into the front as we were watching under the commercial break, and he has just dusted Connor Harrington. He's pulled out 3-second gap, and those guys don't have an answer for him right now. So that's interesting to see. He's at a strong car. Didn't qualify so great, but he has motored his way up to the front, albeit by some strategy, but just purely by just having a strong car. So he is our Rookie of the Year contender. He's doing exactly what he's got to do. His closest competitor, Steven Larkamp, struggling back there in 11th. So, good job to him.
And I mean, you talk about lap times. The last time by at the line there, Justin Weaver ran a 32:12. His nearest adversary behind him, Connor Harrington, was a 32:26. Dustin Wardlow, 32:44. Whoa, who was that diving back there?
That was
white car.
That looked like
it was Rigney, Mike Rigney, a new name, like I said, to the Lionheart IndyCar Series right now. We were just talking about Weaver, and all of a sudden I saw this white dart just flash right through there. You're going to see him coming here. Aero tight,
a little too much steering, and I thought that was going to be a pancake into the inside wall, but he was able to keep going. But sometimes that's what happens. You get in the corner, you just start cranking that steering wheel in, and then eventually catches, and you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be a very typical, if you're used to the tin top side of things, a push loose where you got so much wheel into it, and then all of a sudden it bites and snaps. But, I mean, we're just kind of watching this race unfold. It's more twists and turns than a drive through the wine country up there in California. I mean, that last time by Connor chunked a little bit back, but, I mean, you're talking 3.5 seconds. Battle for P8, Dan Guerin. He is working around. Was that Ken Hacker or was that Ron?
I think that was Ron. That he went by, and he was 10th after that round of pit stops, moving himself up to 8th. So he's digging right now. Adam Blocker's sitting in 4th. So he's just got to keep digging. He's got a fast enough car to get up there. He's just got to make sure he gets to that speed limit before the pit lane next time.
Yeah, I mean, last time by, he was faster than our leader. Oh, I mean, the speed is there in that number 8 Midwest Solutions machine. He's just got to get back up there. I think this time he's probably going to back his mark up on pit road entry just a little bit more. Make sure you hit that line, because I think at this point he really can't, he can't afford to cost himself any more time on the pit cycles.
No, definitely. He's going to run out of time if he does that. But he was the leader at the moment, so he does have a fast car. He's doing a good job. And he's got Michael Goodman up in front of him about a couple hundred yards, so he's kind of tracking him down. We are getting closer to getting into about 10 laps till the next round of pit stops. Although Justin Weaver has got 8 laps fewer to go, or more to go than that. So, man, I'm impressed with Justin. He's out of all the people that's pitted early, he's the only one that has made his way back up there. The rest of those guys have kind of stalled out in the 10th position and farther. So, nice job to him.
Well, actually, Brandon Liebkeman and Isaiah Dupree are the other two that were on that strategy, and they're running P5 and P6.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right.
I mean, that could be a banner day for any of those guys, Brandon or Isaiah. I mean, they get up there, get up in this thing. I mean, think about it. If a caution comes out at some point, not that I'm trying to jinx that, but if a caution does come out, that's going to bring everybody right back up into it. And I think at the times you just don't quite know what everybody has when these get real spread out. Sam Ryman on pit road. He's hitting right about where he should be, 38 laps. So, yeah, I mean, if we're looking at that cycle, I would probably expect Adam Blocker, Connor Harrington, Michael Goodman, maybe not Goodman, but Dan, Ron Hacker, Ken Hacker. Those guys will probably be on pit road into the next 5, 6, 7 laps or so. And there you see Ryman pulling away. A beautiful blue and white machine. I've always liked that paint scheme on Sam.
Something must have happened to Dustin because he's dropped back down to, he's 6.5 seconds back. So he was recently 3, and so he's lost a healthy 3 seconds. So Justin Weaver's all out there by himself. Be interesting to see once Samuel gets up to speed what kind of lap times he can run with those fresh tires.
That's going to be the trick to it. But we are halfway. Crossed flags, boys and girls. Print off your boarding passes. We're going to finish this one off as we are now, I believe we would call that fully dark around the track. I mean, I'm going to call it that. I need a good shot coming down the backstretch right here. Yeah, I'm going to call that. We're fully in the night now.
The only thing we're missing for realism is all the smog that happens in Southern California. So I'd be impressed if they would just fog out the mountains a little bit and make it harder to breathe. I spent a lot of time in that area racing go-karts Riverside, and I remember that distinctly of how smoggy it always was right in that basin right there.
Well, that's where all that air is going to pool up right there.
Yeah, it just sticks right up against the mountain there, just sits there. We are in the window now of if we can go 40 laps, everybody's going to be only going to have to pit twice.
Yep.
The difference is I think Justin Weaver's a little bit on the front side of that. It was where his last stop he'll have to take less fuel, so that's another advantage. He won't have to sit in pit lane as long, but we are in that window. Just 2 stops if we go green the rest of the way.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at the guys who are going to be on pit road here in the next couple, they'll put another 40 in there, and then they'll be pitting with 33-ish to go. Justin will be on pit road, and he'll be able to pit a lot. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Richie. He'll be able to take out a lot less fuel, and I mean, these cars really like fresh tires and less fuel. So, I mean, I think he's even, oh no, put it out! Caution is out. It's on the backstretch. Someone's upside down. I think that's Joe Branch.
Joe Branch on his lid there in the Haviland car, and that changes everything.
That changes a couple things, yeah. Oh, what happened to Joe? Well, that's a weird accident. Because he gets buzzed by. Who buzzes by him right there? Is that Tyler Graff? Yeah, in the 26. And then he comes off of turn 2, and then the car, it acts like it had the air pulled off of it.
Yeah, either you can see how much steering he has, and then he just kind of loses it. He might have had a failure or something, because that was kind of strange.
Well, that wheel is hard left now. When you looked at the arms inside, the virtual arms inside that cockpit, they were all the way to the left, so that could have been a hard left failure.
Tyler Graff is going around the outside. There's no contact or anything, and he just goes left and then overcorrect, boom into the wall on his lid. Looks like it's just a single car accident, so that's good. But we are under yellow, and so everybody should be coming in. Unfortunately for Justin Weaver, it does take away a little bit of his advantage that he would have gotten on that last pit stop.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's kind of a tale of two cautions there, where Justin Weaver hated to see it, but I'll tell you what, the driver in that number 8 machine, Dan Guerin, he probably was thanking whatever deity would listen to his prayers for that caution. But here we go, everybody feasting on the pit road, 4 tires and full of fuel. Now the drivers with the holiday patch that iRacing called it today, they put live pit crews. So we can't see it from the broadcast side, but these drivers, they're going down pit road. Now they get to see the pit crew. So that'll be fun.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's too bad we can't get that on the broadcast because they did a really good job with that.
I could hear Amjed's graphics card screaming from Texas if that was the case. Looks like everybody's hitting their marks. Everybody's on. Who's rolling? Weaver's rolling. And he's going to have a very healthy advantage coming off of pit road. Dustin.
He had a slow
Wardlow getting off P2. Connor Harrington off behind him, Blocker, and then Limkeman rounding out your top 5 off of pit road. Dan Guerin going to be right there in the 7th spot, though.
Yeah, that's exactly what Dan Guerin needed. He's right back in the game, so they're going to start all nose to tail. Dustin had a little bit slower pit stop than about 1.5 seconds slower than Justin, so a little more cautious getting to his box. Adam Blocker, not a very quick pit stop either, but he holds on to that 4th position. But there you go, Dan Guerin right back into the game, and so this is going to get interesting.
Well, and I think Weaver, we were talking about that fuel advantage that Weaver was going to have, and I think he was actually just able to use it. When I'm looking at the pit stop times, Justin Weaver had a 7.5 second pit stop to Dustin Wardlow's 9-second pit stop to Adam Blocker's 10, Connor's 9, to an 8 back behind there. So those 9-second pit stops, that's about, especially because remember, we're running full fuel here tonight as well in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Usually we only run 75%, but tonight for the Triple Crowns, we always do a full 100%. So that 7.5 pit stop, that pretty much tells me that he was, able to short fill it right there, maintain his advantage out in the front.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I didn't even think about that. Unfortunately, it didn't gain him anything because everybody's going to be stacked back up, but that is exactly right. That guaranteed his coming out of the pits first.
A couple of wave around cars to mention: Sam Ryman, Tyler Graff, Pierre Deigel, and Scott Bolster all taking the wave around there. A couple other ones in there: David Altman, Andrew Kinsella really had nothing to lose, and Ed Tutwiler as well, all taking the wave around right there. So here we go. We'll kind of reset it here. 69 laps to go here in the Gray Matters 300, the Auto Club Speedway Lionheart IndyCar Series finale. Full darkness. There's a beautiful camera that I was looking for earlier. I mean, if you look up there by the lights, Richie, you could say that's smog, where it's kind of rolling in.
Yeah, if you've been there, that is definitely not smog. That's a beautiful day.
Made it out as far west as Arizona. I haven't quite made it out there the rest of the way.
All right, here we go. All lined up against the wall here, getting ready for it to go back to green.
Yep, jumping up there up against the wall to try and block because you can't pass to the right in iRacing. So if you go up there by the wall, they have nowhere to try and pass you. Pace car is off. Field is under the control of Justin Weaver, bringing him down here. He's onto the loud pedal. Green flag back into the air. A little bit of a stack up there behind Dupree on the start. Weaver is going to get away fine. So is Wardlow, Connor, and Blocker. But back behind them, there was a great a big backup there. I think guys were anticipating the start and then had to check up, and that just checked up the whole field back there. Like I said, it happened right around Dupree.
Yeah, that backed Dan Guerin up a little bit. So he lost touch with Dupree. He's going to get in the draft, but he's got Michael Goodman all over the back of him. Up front, Justin Weaver.
Four cars under a blanket there. Now move Dustin Wardlow, the Candyman, up to the lead. Connor Harrington up there. He's battling for second. You got Justin Weaver, and look at Dupree back there. Gets a great run down the thing and just sends it. Look at that. Went from 6th to 4th, and now he's looking for 3rd. That was a great run from Dupree.
Yeah, he's bringing Dan Guerin right with him, right up to Adam Blocker. Yeah, interesting to see that that Justin Weaver lost those positions like he did. He was leading pretty handily, and now he's just stuck right in the back with those guys.
Look at that up there to the top side. Dan Guerin in that green and black machine. He got that good run down the front stretch. He jumped up there trying to get that run, and now he's going to jump up to the high side of Weaver, falling into the tracks of Blocker. And there's your championship 2, back reunited, and it feels so good heading off into turn 3.
Adam Blocker dives down to the bottom, and Dan Guerin's going to go up to the top. That's where his teammate is. His teammate Dustin Wardlow's up top as well, so he's able to get the draft off of him. We're 2 wide, about 3 or 4 deep going into turn 1 as they spread out 3 wide now.
Well, it's something that I mentioned earlier in that Dan Guerin, he has Dustin Wardlow as a teammate. Adam Blocker has no teammates up there. His nearest teammate is back there. I mean, when I'm looking this far back, that should tell you everything you need to know. So Blocker is effectively fighting up there all by himself, whereas, like I said, Dan has Dustin. Brandon Limkeman is back there. Ken Hacker is up there as well. So Dan has some friends kind of around him. Look at that, going up through the middle, going to the high side of Connor Harrington into turn 1.
Also, that yellow flag, what really hurt Justin Weaver is he was way out front, and his competitor in the Rookie of the Year standings was way down in the middle. Ooh. Now Stephen Larkamp is right behind Justin Weaver.
Dan Guerin found an opening underneath Connor Harrington and sent it to the bottom. Move Dan Guerin back up to the lead here with it's coming to 63 laps to go. He had a perfect window there. Connor, I think, pushed up a little bit off of the corner and left an opening, and Dan had a good run from the top side and was able to capitalize on that. Now Dan's going to be on the bottom. He's going to be kind of in that role reversal where he was able to pinch Blocker earlier. Now Connor is going to be able to block Dan down to the bottom.
This is really shaping up to be a hell of a battle right to the end between these two, and throw in the mix of Connor Harrington and Dustin Wardlow trying to get their win. We also have Isaiah Dupree working hard on Adam Blocker there. So this is getting pretty exciting.
And they are just biting it up. They're fighting it up there. It is insane. 3 wide back up for the lead. And there you see Blocker kind of with nowhere to go. Isaiah Dupree back there in the 5th spot. Justin Weaver hanging out back there in 6th. He's going, all right, y'all are getting a little nuts up there. I need to make it to the end of this as well. And there you see Connor getting that run from the top, sniffing a little bit of draft and trying to swoop out there to the outside. But the problem is he gets out there and the run just stalls off. And then he's got to do the whole thing, rinse, lather, repeat. And that's a statement coming from a bald gentleman to try and make that whole run work again.
Well, one thing you'll be working on too is working on that last run to the checkered flag. So all you gotta do is be across the line with the nose. So if you're kind of trying to figure that out, you can see here he comes. Is he across the line?
Give that one to Dan.
So he's probably trying to see what he has to do if it comes down to this.
Yeah, you could see that a little bit there in this part in the race. Just a little bit of jockeying, figuring out, okay, how's this going to work when we're coming to 5 to go? Yeah, he hit that one right on the head, Richie. Man, we've been focused so much on the up front battle. Weaver's back there in the 5th spot. Look at Ken Hacker there in the 8th or 7th spot now. He's in a red car. That's messing with me this week for some reason. Or no, yeah. Ken's not. I got Ken and Ron confused.
Yeah, Ken is in 7th, and Ron, I think, is in 12th at the moment.
There we go. I had him confused for a moment.
Got to give a shout out to Isaiah Dupree. Like you said, not Bill's favorite thing, but he did start 32nd.
Woo, that was close.
Wow. Boy, he chopped him off like there's no tomorrow. In the real world, that's what you do to somebody who you're not very happy with, but I don't think it affects them quite the same in the virtual world.
I think
I've done that a few times to people.
I think Isaiah Dupree may be fielding sponsorship proposals from X companies in the off season, because that was a pretty mean cut right there. But hey, I mean, it's getting down to the gritty of it. You know, we're pushing to that 50 lap to go marker. I mean, Richie, when you were in the driver's seat, you got to that 50 laps to go. I mean, did you grip the wheel a little tighter? Because you knew there's really no more second chances now.
Well, you're kind of just you kind of know what you got. I mean, at this point in the race, I mean, you either are really confident or you're just like, man, let's just get this thing over and I'll take what I can get. I've been in both positions, so sometimes you feel great, sometimes you're just happy with where you are.
And I think Dan Guerin is positioning himself to get up there and try and control as much of that as he can. And Amjad, you may have to get back to me on this one because I'm trying to figure out who has the most laps led between Dan and Blocker, / even in the race. Because I think Weaver might have the most laps led locked down.
I think he was leading for a long time. I mean, Dan led for quite a bit at the beginning, but I think Justin's got the most.
Yeah, because that would take a bonus point away, and then effectively the magic clinch spot for Adam Blocker then shifts to 6th spot. Whereas if they can even out the bonus points, Dan would make that to where Blocker would have to finish 5th or better to lock down the championship. Still, Andrew Kinsella back on pit road. He stayed out that long. He stayed out on the wave around. So those wave around guys, some of them should shake out pretty much fine. Kinsella was at the very end of a long run there. Just a heartbreaking night for Andrew. I feel gutted for him because I've been in that spot where you build up for something like this all season, and something just out of your control just takes it all away from you.
Yeah, definitely kind of a bummer for him. But we talked about it in the qualifying part. I mean, it's hard to start 27th, and I mean, you could do everything right, and then something happens. It's not your fault, and so he definitely kind of put himself in that position. But definitely disappointment. He's had a great year, but the battle is going to come down between Guerin and Blocker now.
We just had an onboard there with Robert Bluen in our HPP simulation onboard camera looking over the left shoulder of Robert. So thank you to HPP Simulation for putting the camera there.
Dan Guerin, Connor Harrington still swapping positions here up front. Dan's just holding that bottom line, trying to make Connor Harrington going around the outside. Kind of the same position that Adam Blocker did for Dan earlier in the race, but Dan was eventually able to make it happen. So, see if those tires hold up on him running that bottom lane.
You see, Dan's running right where he needs to. He's not giving up the full bottom, but he's making Connor have to go around the outside. As the leader, especially in these IR18 IndyCars, if you're at that spot, you force somebody out to the outside. The car just doesn't magically stick out there in the outside lane. You have to have a little bit of drive and a little bit of grip to make it all balance out. So I think Dan's running the smart line, doing what he can. Blocker back there in third's going, you guys can run and go nuts. I'm going to just hang out back here.
Yeah, Adam does not have to win. Dan does. So Adam's sitting in a very good position. He's spaced himself out from the second place car, Connor Harrington, and he's spaced out a little bit from Justin Weaver as well. So just kind of doing his thing. We got one more pit stop to go, so things can change at that point. I think it'll really get exciting with about maybe 10 to go.
Oh, yeah, especially, and I'm not going to say it, but if we get that late, you know what? With probably 15 to go after a long run like that could make things very, very interesting. But I think everybody's seen how fresh tires go as we're on board with Adam Blocker right now. So I think if we were on that spot, if there was that pit stop, probably even with 10 to go, because if these guys pit, they've got another 20 laps on their tires. That would put them to 29 to go. So let's say you run another 15 laps or so. Yeah, I bet you'd see everybody on pit road again, because that advantage that Weaver was able to use was only a 10-lap tire advantage.
Yeah, we did be able to see that example, not just with Weaver, but some others, and they were just able to be real aggressive with their moves. So I agree. I think you come in, take the tires, and that way you just have that car underneath you to do whatever you need it to do.
Yeah, take your fuel now at the next pit stop. Take your tires, and then you tell the fuel guy, all right, you're done till next year. Still a great battle out front with Connor and Dan. It seems to just kind of be stagnating right now. Just kind of poking my nose back through the field and just kind of seeing Brian Beard just getting around Steven Larkamp. That's for the 10th position. Steven Larkamp, your other Rookie of the Year contender with Justin Weaver. Right now, that title would go to Weaver with him being in 4th and Larkamp being in the 11th spot. Ron Hacker back there. Pierre Daigle, once again, like we said, making his 100th start. That's a pretty big achievement in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. Tyler Graff, a pretty good run, too, right back there. Started 20th on the night for the Midwest driver up to the 14th spot.
And we still have 18 cars on the lead lap out of the basically 34 that started. So not a bad run here right near the end for everybody. It looks like everybody's kind of separated out, though. We were getting pretty excited there for the first 5 or 6 laps after that yellow flag, but really not many battles going on. Probably the biggest battle we have looks like Ron Hacker's going right around Brian Beard, so that was a pretty easy pass. And then Brian's got a few people behind him. Brian Pierre Daigle's going by him. I don't know if Brian's got a problem.
Yeah, it's
he's
just
way down.
Yeah, it's like he caught a bad run or caught some bad air or something, because now he's coming up as the double up under Steven Larkamp there. And move Beard back out there to that spot.
And unfortunately for Steven Larkamp, he was up to like 6th position, but he's faded back down to 13th. And, you know, those two between Weaver and Larkamp, they're pretty much almost tied on points. So it's just whoever finishes in front. And Justin Weaver, he has a bonus point for leading the lap. Probably has most lap leads. We haven't figured that out yet, but he did lead a lap. And so, you know, he's just doing his thing. He's just got to stay clean and win that Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that comes with a pretty hefty, pretty good prize attached to that as well for the Rookie of the Year. I mean, you get a chunk of change. You get, I had it somewhere. Where was it? There it is. You get a plaque. You get some money. You get a butt kicker. That's not a bad deal. A bunch of other prizes. We're not going to spoil everything that we have in there just yet, but there's some good stuff in there. We're going to do a little rundown here. So we kind of talked about this as this race is at the point where I like to say it's setting up to the finale. So this is the there's a word I'm trying to think here. The penultimate. Here we go. The penultimate run. So that's what we're getting up right here. So we're going to do a full field rundown here, sponsored or brought to you by Butt Kicker. Butt Kicker products add instant immersion to any game, unlike a subwoofer that moves air and loses accuracy and force. Butt Kicker moves actual mass, producing a haptic immersion that's powerful and accurate. Butt Kicker products add that missing driver-to-car connection that you get in the real world, but you don't quite get it in the sim for that full immersion. If you go to thebuttkicker.com, you can see their full line of products and use the promo code 20LION, that is 20LION, to get 20% off your order. That's not a bad deal right there. As we've mentioned, Dan Guerin in the lead. He's at the spot that he needs to be at in order to try and clinch his first championship in the Lionheart IndyCar Series. But, you know, just looking back, you know that there's another driver back there that's in the spot that he needs to be in. But that driver is not Connor Harrington right now, because Connor's P2, and he, at this point, he's got nothing else left to prove this season but to go get a victory. Started 7th on the night, running 2nd right now. And there we go. Adam Blocker, the Adrenaline Motorsports driver out of the Carolinas. I don't know exactly which one he is from. Running there in the P3 position, which as it sits right now, if my math is correct, he would be your champion by 19 points over Dan Guerin, I believe. Justin Weaver kind of rebounding back to the 4th spot in that Moby Dickey machine, that blue and white, that beautiful paint job. And then you got Isaiah Dupree. We've talked about him earlier, just having a great run in that in that white machine. I know he and his team, they're really gearing up for next year. They're getting excited about that. Dustin Wardlow, the Candy Man, you can't ever forget about him back there in the 6th spot. Michael Goodman in 7th. New York driver. Brandon Limkin, series sponsor there. Oh, Daigle on pit road. Sam Ryman on pit road. That's some of the wave around guys from the last time, so they're not in a bad spot. I've been corrected in the chat that Adam Blocker's from South Carolina because I cannot recognize state flags. So there's that geography lesson for everybody.
No, those guys pitted right now, just to point it out, they are close enough to make it. This could be their last stop.
Yeah,
they're just going to have to take a full take of fuel, whereas all those people up front are going to be shorter on fuel, so it will hurt them a little bit. But after this, they are good to go.
Yep. Yeah, with where they're at right now, they should be able to make it just fine. Let's see. We were talking about Goodman. So there we go. New York driver. Really solid foundation. He'll get there. He'll get there. We got Brandon Lipkeman, like we said, series sponsor back there in the 8th spot. In the 9th spot, you've got Ken Hacker. And just to confuse me even more, Ron Hacker back there running behind him in the 10th spot. You know what? Let's jump. We'll just keep it at the top 10 for right now. Brian Beard, I will mention, is at 11th. I'd like to point that out as the presenting sponsor tonight. And the other Rookie of the Year contender, Steven Larkamp, just behind him. That's a pretty good battle for the 11th spot.
We got Tyler Graff in the pit, sitting in his box, getting a full load. Tires, fuel, and so right now the leaders, all the guys up front working lap 35 on the last stop. So should see these guys in the next 4 or 5 laps, 5 at the most, and then it'll be the run to the finish.
Yep, Dan Guerin, he's doing we've said it plenty of times in this last little bit. He's doing everything that he needs to do to put himself in that spot. Blocker is just showing that. He's just showing that consistency that has let him take over the championship lead very early on in the season, and he has not looked back since he's had the championship lead. Just a very good overall record for Adam as the season has gone on.
Yeah, he's done a great job tonight. Got that bonus point for getting pole. Took it away from Dan, who started right next to him on the front row. Led some laps. When it didn't seem like he had it, he kind of just drifted back, and he's done a good job of just kind of finding his space. You know, he's not getting too busy with people, and Dan's doing everything he can too. I mean, he's winning the race. He's had to fight back to get from that penalty early on, but he can't control what Adam does. So, at the moment, it's all in Adam's corner.
Well, and what we've really seen tonight is really both drivers have done exactly what they need to do. And I think that's kind of a remarkable thing. You know, Dan has gone out there. He's going out there. He's trying to win the race, trying to lead all the laps that he can. And Blocker is doing exactly what he needs to do as well, just hanging out in the top 5. That kind of keeps him in a safe spot. I mean, a late caution would absolutely jumble that up. But, I mean, right now, I bet you if you're in Adam Blocker's cockpit and helmet, you're probably sitting, you're calm as you can be right now at 220 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, this is perfect for him. I would love to be in that position, just kind of sitting around, nobody bugging you. Car probably feels okay, and just waiting for that last pit stop.
Yeah,
Don't screw it up.
Dan to pit road. I think he had a much better stop that time, and he's bringing, I think that's Connor Harrington and Isaiah Dupree behind him.
Yep.
If you're Blocker, I mean, he probably ran an extra lap there just to probably give himself a clean entry, instead of pitting behind those two guys. Run an extra lap and get yourself a nice, clean pit road entry. Wouldn't surprise me to see him on pit road this next time.
And and you are right. Here he comes, slowing it down.
Sometimes I know stuff. Dan Guerin off and around pit road, so I think this is going to be the battle that I'm just going to keep an eye on my screen just to see where those guys shake out, because it's coming off of pit road the exact same way that they came on. Right now, Justin Weaver is out front. Dustin Wardlow is in the 2nd spot. Michael Goodman in 3rd. Paul Jenkins a new name once again. He's up there in the 4th spot. Like I said, those guys right now are staying out and seeing if maybe they can catch a very quick caution. But Dream ends real quick as Weaver and Wardlow are on pit road. I think Goodman cycled back out to the lead. And there goes Garrett around Blocker. That's going to open up a big advantage. But Connor's going to get by, and Blocker's pretty much going to shake out right where he was at, unless some of these other guys can get up to speed fast. And Dan's dealing with a little bit of a slower car of Scott Bolster there. Didn't quite get around him as clean as he needed to be. Justin Weaver's rolling off the end of pit road, but I think that's not going to matter right now because Dan is still singing at full song down there.
Yeah, Dan's doing a great job. He's got a healthy gap to the guys behind them. So good pit stop this time. No penalty. Everybody's kind of cycling out, although Justin Weaver is going to come out in front of Adam Blocker, it looks like.
Ooh, that could change things a little bit because now that would cycle Blocker back to the 4th spot.
There
and
goes
now
Adam.
His the championship advantage would only be 13 points at that moment.
Well, Adam was able to get by, had that momentum, but he's Justin's right in his tail. So this, like you said, this is, right on that cusp as well. So Adam's right there.
He's still doing what he needs to do. It's just he's out there, back out. He should cycle around here as Goodman has pitted. So that should cycle Dan back out to the lead. Connor in 2nd, Adam in 3rd, Justin Weaver 4th, and Dustin Wardlow 5th. There you go. Getting a little bit of separation there. A little bit of take the arrow off of the nose of that number 40 machine. Beautiful car, Skull Bandit.
Yeah, this battle between Justin and Adam is kind of important, although Dustin Wardlow is running the 5th position. He's a little bit farther back. But Adam doesn't want to get in a battle with anybody. He was just fine by himself in 3rd place earlier.
Well, and where that could get interesting for Blocker at least is if Wardlow was able to get up there and catch that group, and let's say that he was able to get around both of them, and Weaver was able to get around him, that would move Blocker back to the 5th spot, and then the championship advantage would be 9 points. But it looks like Blocker is getting a good run off of the draft of Connor Harrington. Blocker to the top, battle for the P2 position on the screen, on the track, and in your hearts and minds. There, and Justin Weaver's going to get up there and decide to make it a 3-car battle. The Blocker takes that very high line. I don't know, Richie. That kind of looked like, I'm going to get a run, but you know what? You guys can go have fun.
Yeah, I mean, they all are on fresh tires, so he might have realized, I'm kind of just wasting my time up here. So just kind of duck down below, just see what these guys do, and save my tires for the end if I need them. He doesn't need them at the moment. Let these guys race it out and just kind of stay out of the way. He's kind of just holding his distance, it looks like, at the moment.
Yep, he's just keeping where he needs to be. That's it's the mark of a championship racer. I think that's where back in the late '80s and early '90s, that's where Alain Prost really kind of picked up a lot of notoriety because he knew where he would have to run, and he would put the car exactly where he needed to run, and he wouldn't try to put the car in spots that would put him in harm to sacrifice that spot. And really, Blocker's driven a very, very smart race tonight. Just kind of following that little strategy of just being right where he needs to be with, 20, where are we at now? 20, coming to 23 laps to go, 22 laps to go.
Yeah, and behind Adam Blocker, about 3.5 seconds, got a good battle between Goodman, Wardlow, and Isaiah Dupree for that 5th position. These guys are all stacked together. So that's the best battle on track at the moment. Looks like Dustin Wardlow is going to sneak right underneath Michael Goodman as they go into turn 1. Isaiah's had a great run. He's put some bold moves we saw earlier on, kind of hanging back, seeing what's going on as we ride on board with him at the moment. Unfortunately, they're coming up to lap Andrew Kinsella. Andrew Kinsella looks like he's coming back into the pit lane. We might be calling it a day there, or something's wrong.
Maybe he still might run around a couple spots. Maybe just short pitted the last time or something from that variety. Tyler Graff on pit road as well. Yeah, good battle on track right there for that.
For that fifth spot.
For basically P2.
Michael Goodman.
Yeah.
Guys going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Justin Weaver, Connor Harrington, and Adam Blocker, the same thing, battling hard for that second position. But, Adam Blocker, he's not going to battle hard. He's just going to sit there and watch. Justin Weaver in a great spot to take over that Rookie of the Year winning trophy, as Stephen Larkamp struggling a little bit in the 14th position.
I know Soup's not here tonight, Richie, but we're 20 to go. You know what that means, right?
It means there's 20 to go.
Oh, he's leaving me hanging. Come on, we got the disco ball. It's time to boogie, baby. Here we go.
I'm not even going to try to do what he does. Not even going to try. So he makes me laugh, but I can't. I don't want to ruin it.
The creative mind of Bill Soupzon. I think that was he and Sean too. Sean came. I remember that one from the doctor of pit stopology. No, that's you. That's you, Amjad. Professor Lugnut. There we go, Professor Lugnut. Which we got an excuse slip from Dr. Lugnut. So he decided to just let us be tonight, and he said that he would gladly come around next season.
All right, this race is coming down to a close. It's been a good one. It's gone by pretty quickly, so not a lot of yellows. Hopefully I didn't just jinx it right there, but things have been going really good. Dan Guerin's done what he's had to do. Adam Blocker's done what he has to do, and we got a great battle between Dustin Wardlow still, Michael Goodman for that top 5 position.
There's all sorts of things going on the track, but it's all happening in the rear. Let me try that whole sentence again. Lots of things going on, but in the mind and the helmet of Dan Garrett, it's all happening just behind him. He can glance down in those mirrors just down the back, or down the front and the back stretch, and just see what's going on behind him.
I'd like to know what Dan's thinking right now. I mean, he's done everything he has to do. He's watching that relative screen, seeing where Adam is, and he's nothing we can do about it. Adam's doing the same thing, probably just kind of hanging tight. He's got a healthy gap over Michael Goodman, or who's right behind him in that fifth position, and he's got nobody in front of him except for Justin Weaver, who he's kind of just watching from a distance. So it's all coming down to this.
Yep. Just kind of the best way to do it. We've got, let's see, we've got 14 to go. I mean, this race goes the way that it's going. We're going to be wrapped up here and catching the checkered flag here probably just after 20 after the hour in whatever your native time zone may be. For me, it's Eastern. I know for Richie, you're way out there in the Pacific time zone. Got a battle there. What's that? Dustin Wardlow and Michael Goodman. That's a battle for P5. I know you were talking about that earlier. Seems to be kind of the best battle on track right now, because battle for second kind of settled out a little bit.
Yeah, these guys have been going back and forth, so I don't know if they were just trying to catch up to Adam or just racing hard, but getting far enough along in the race where I think it's just battling hard. It sounds a lot better when you say you got a top 5 or you said I finished 6th, so it's just as important as any other position.
Yeah, at top 5, that's always something. You get to the top 10 and you think, all right, that's going to put a notch in that little statistic there. And then you get to the top 5 and you're like, ooh, I like that. That sounds a lot nicer. So, seeing this battle here for the top 5 is really great.
Yeah, it's just like you were on the podium or you were fourth.
Yeah.
Fourth doesn't sound as exciting as like, oh, I was on the podium. Not much to talk about up front. Dan Guerin's got healthy gap over Connor Harrington. He's doing his thing. Got a healthy gap over Justin Weaver. Once again, Justin Weaver doing a great job. If he stays where he is, he's going to seal up that Rookie of the Year championship, as Stephen Larkamp really didn't have much for him today. Had his own struggles running in that 14th position. Top 5, top 7, all kind of staggered together or staggered apart, except for Goodman and Wardlow. As once again, Goodman goes right underneath Dustin, grabbing that 5th spot back.
Yeah, just a little bit of swap drafting back there. Just trying. They're far enough back. I doubt that they would get up there and really give Blocker too much of a fit, because Blocker's kind of hovering off the draft of Weaver, so that's keeping him where he needs to be.
I wonder if Dan Guerin, he's teammate with Dustin Wardlow, who's barking in his ear to get up there and get by Adam.
Yeah, get up there and fight him, because that would be, if that could happen, that would make the championship very, very interesting. And and where Dustin is running at, you could see him. And I think you've got the lap car there of Bolster, who has even tires compared to everything around him. It would be impressive if Goodman and Wardlow got up there and give him fits, because worst case scenario, that would put him back to 6th, and it's going to come down to bonus points again for that championship. So it's a little too close for me. 5th and better is where Blocker gets it. You start getting back there, I think 6 still would do it, but it might boil down to laps led, and that could even that all back out.
Yeah. If Adam stays where he is, we don't have to worry about it. But if he does fall a couple more spots, then we'll start calculating that out. We do have a battle kind of heating up here a little bit between Ron Hacker and Ken Hacker for that 10th position. Also, Pierre Daigle, not too far behind. Not quite close enough to get too excited about, but these guys are starting to creep in on each other when we got 7 laps to go.
Yeah, getting down to it. Wardlow is catching Blocker just a little bit. That's going to be tight with 7 to go. The time works out to where it could be there, but that's going to be tight. I think we're going to have to keep our eyes on that one. Because at the rate those guys are going, they're catching Blocker. Last time Blocker was a 32.16. Goodman was a 32.31. And Dustin was a, 32.21. So that last time by, Blocker gapped it out a little bit. But now Blocker is getting kind of in the wash, if you will, of Scotty Johnson up there, who might be catching a little bit of the wash of the 2 guys in front of him. So I think if you're Blocker, if you were saving any tires in the first part of this run with 5 laps to go and a championship on the line, now you have to throw that out to the wind. You have to go, and you have to go now.
Yeah, now it's time to creep down and run that shorter line around the track if you can handle it. Dustin was kind of creeping up on it a little bit, but it's kind of stalled out. He's 6 tenths, 7 tenths behind him. I think he's going to run out of time.
He might run out of time, but I'm just watching because you got Weaver up there, and then you got the lap car of Johnson. It looks like Blocker's going to get by Johnson this time, and he's going to hang low enough that should propel him by. That was a big gap right there. I think that's kind of a big sigh of relief for Blocker to get himself squared away there just a little bit. You're not missing anything out front. Dan Guerin still has almost a 4-second lead over Connor Harrington, who has a little bit of a gap over Justin Weaver. As it stands right now, Justin Weaver will be your Season 6 Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, everybody's kind of separated out, a little anticlimactic, but it's been a great race so far. Adam's getting around Scotty was probably was a big deal. That kind of gave him just enough gap to breathe a little bit as he's going through some lap traffic now. But everybody's staying high, giving him the space he needs. Dustin's trying to get around. He's got Andrew Kinsella to battle with there, and Adam just took him right to the top, and Dustin just hit the wall. He kind of pancaked it and kept going. But if you watch this replay here, he's trying to goes right down to the bottom with Andrew, and then kind of just gets in the wash and just nothing Andrew did on purpose, but he got in that understeer and just kind of pancaked the wall. That's going to be the end of his battle there.
Well, here we go. White flag is in the air. 2 miles left at the Auto Club Speedway. 2 miles left in this season 6. Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight and making this a very special broadcast. Like I said, hang around post-race. We got a lot more fun and games planned. Dan Guerin looks very handedly as a big enough advantage that he is going to bring home his 4th win on the year, but it's just not going to be enough. Coming off of turn 4, Dan Guerin is going to bring it home and win the season finale, the Gray Matter 300 at Auto Club. And finishing in the 4th position, Adam Blocker should be your 2018 Season 6 Lionheart IndyCar Series champion.
Yeah, great job. Connor Harrington having a good run too, finishing 2nd. Justin Weaver finishing 3rd, grabbing that Rookie of the Year standings. Michael Goodman did end up getting that 5th position after Dustin had that problem, and that moved Isaiah Dupree up to 6th. Brandon Limkerman in 7th. Justin Wardlow comes home in 8th out of had that little incident near the end. Ron Hacker and Ken Hacker 9th and 10th.
You see Blocker coming down the front stretch. Lots of celebration, I'm imagining, in the cockpit of that machine. Dan Guerin parking it on the front stretch. I tell you what, he's going to do some donuts, get himself. He gave it a hell of a run. I just a little bit short. So with that being said, we're going to watch Dan do some burnouts, and I'm betting the driver of that number 74 machine, when he comes back around, he's going to do some donuts. Stay tuned, everybody. Please stay tuned. Like I said, we've got all sorts of post-race fun planned. We're going to come back on the other side after a break, do a full field rundown, talk to a whole bunch of people, and give away some prizes. So stay tuned. We'll be right back on the Global Sim Racing channel. Welcome back to Auto Club Speedway here on the Global Sim Racing channel via the iRacing Esports Network. Just watched a very thrilling race. Lots of storylines, lots of things to play out. We're going to do this all in the extended, very, very extended Plasma Tracks post-race show. Am I working my sponsor plug-in? I think so. Yeah, we're going to get that done right now. Why not? With the Plasma Tracks Victory Lane post-race show. There we go. If you are struggling to find something for the person that has everything, let me tell you what, plasmatracks.com. That's where you go. They do wall art, they do motorsports trophies, they do home decor, fabrications. Like it's really cool. If you go on Facebook and search them out, you'll see what the whole scope of what they can do. And you'll be trying to convince people, friends, co-workers why you need to have this in your man cave, your she shed, your office cubicle, everywhere. You can see it all at plasma-tracks.com. And don't forget, use the promo code LRS2018 to get 25% off your order. That's not bad. So, without further ado, here we go. Dan Guerin is your big winner tonight of the race and the HPP race results there. Connor Harrington finished second, step on the podium with Justin Weaver third. Adam Blocker clinching down the championship in fourth spot. Michael Goodman in fifth. Isaiah Dupree with a great hard charge to get up to the sixth spot. Brandon Limpcom in seventh. Eighth to Dustin Wardlow after that late race contact with the wall. Ron Hacker in ninth. Ken Hacker in 10th.
Coming in 11th spot is Pierre Daigle. Right behind him in 12th is Brian Beard. Our own Samuel Ryman coming in 13th there. Stephen Larkamp, kind of a rough night there. Finishes in 14th. Paul Jenkins 15th. Robert Bluen 16th. First car lap down, and they're 2 laps down actually, but coming in 17th would be Matthew Mercer. Behind him is Scotty Johnson 18th. Mike Rigney 19th, and Scott Bolster in 20th.
Blackjack finishing position, David Altman, Tyler Graff after that late race pit stop in 22nd. Andrew Kinsella, we said it earlier, just a rough night in the 23rd position. Bart Workman 24th, Ed Tutwiler 25th. James Krahula was able to get back out there after all of the computer issues that he had at the beginning of the race. Ran a bunch of laps, finished 26th, 27th. Joe Branch, we saw him upside down in the on the backstretch there. League founder George Ansaldo there, 28th. Chris Lanini 29th, 30th to Chris Stover.
And rounding out the bottom part here, 32nd, Tony Schoen. All these guys had a rough night. Some early wrecks took a bunch of people out. 33rd, Big Joe Hauser, and coming in 34th is Brian Greenlee.
But I'll tell you what, I know someone that is going to be pretty happy to talk to us here. If I could get this right. There we go. Hey, there we go. That's how things work. Whoops, moved him too far, I think. You can help me out here. I'll get it better the next time. Hey, here we go. Dan, congratulations on the victory tonight. You did everything that you needed to do to put yourself in a position to win the championship. But unfortunately for your championship adversary, he did the exact same thing that you did. But still, your fourth victory on the night. Tell us kind of about your night, that early speeding penalty, and then the lucky caution, and just kind of that whole rebound.
Oh, you saw that speeding penalty, huh? I just came in kind of hot there and told Dustin that he wanted to pit at the same time I did. And like, well, let's pit separate laps, but I got out just enough in front of him, and then I just wasn't paying attention, locked him up and slid through. And I'm like, well, crap, there's a 15-second penalty, and see Blocker stop and go and gone. I'm like, well, shoot, now I'm like 11 seconds back. Started closing in on him, and I was just getting ready to call out my pit when that last caution come out. So I was so happy for that thing.
Kind of a tale of two cautions there. I said that in the broadcast earlier. With Weaver had the big advantage out front, and you were needing that caution to kind of catch everything back up. I mean, once you kept back onto the track and you're able to cycle through things, you had a great run, drove all the way up to where you needed to get, and then take us back to that restart that you had, where you kind of jumped through the field and went from 7th to 5th to 3rd to 1st.
Yeah, I didn't have very good luck this past week with the practice races, so I figured at some point the push was going to get me, and I just got some excellent runs coming down the backstretch and got around Brandon on the high side there, and then Dustin was also there, and he helped me get maneuvered down to the bottom and took that spot away. Then he snuck in between me and Adam, so. And then Connor left the bottom open there, and I don't know if he was just letting me by or what was going on. I asked him, and he said he was just kind of hanging around, and so led some laps there and did the best I could, and then had that last pit stop that no speeding penalties, so that was good. But yeah, Connor started to catch me there late in that run, and I was just trying to get whatever draft I could and kind of concentrate because I was starting to lose fuel too. So, but it all worked out in the end.
It did. I mean, think about it though, Dan. You had a pretty rough start to the season. You're able to come back and finish what I believe to be second in the points. I mean, if we told you that when you're in the spell of that hashtag that didn't go as planned streak, you'd probably take it. But before we send you on your way tonight into the cool, crisp Iowa air, to anybody you want to send a shout out to send us off here.
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely my teammates there, Ron, Brandon, George, Dustin, Ken. Also, got to thank my family who's been supportive this whole year, and hopefully to years to come. My sponsor is Dave Barber with Lock Precision, Scott Rupp with Midwest Simulations, and Billy. I can't pronounce his last name, but for Sim Racers for Mental Health. So hopefully you guys will be riding along with me next year as well.
There you go, Dan. We'll catch up with you later. And once again, congratulations.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right. There we go. Got it. I had to make my window bigger here. Richie, there's Connor. There he is. You have caught up with our second place finisher, Connor Harrington.
Yeah, I did. And Connor, great job out there. Started 7th, finished 2nd, led some laps. Had a good battle with Dan going for a while. Just give us a rundown of your race.
Yeah, the number 44 NHR Esports machine was pretty good tonight in the clean air. I struggled really bad with a lot of the dirty air. The tire model is just super sensitive to temperature, and so as soon as you get them hot, I was really struggling, especially to pick my way through the lap traffic. Had a really good battle with Dan. First off, congrats to Adam and congrats to Dan. They really took it down to the wire, and that was probably some of the best racing we've seen all year out there on the track tonight.
Yeah, it was. We had some good runs there, especially after we got that last caution flag. Everybody came out basically with the same tires, same fuel load, and got a little hot and heavy there for a little while, and got really excited. Still going 3 wide for the lead, and yeah, it was good. So nicely done there. We're gonna let you go here into the night. Anybody you'd like to thank?
I do have some exciting announcement. Is next season I have been picked up officially for. I'll be teammates with Steven Larkamp and a driver to be named later for NHR Esports. So I'm really excited about that and that opportunity to drive for them.
We're breaking all the news tonight.
Yes, we are. Yes, breaking news. Sorry, put the banner up on the screen. But really, just thank you to George and all the series administrators, all the series sponsors. This really is the premier iRacing IndyCar league. So it's been great. I've enjoyed my rookie season. I'm excited to get after it in 2019.
Yeah, absolutely. You did a great job, and we look forward to seeing you out there with your teammates there. So nicely done, and we'll catch you next season.
Cheers, guys. Thank you.
All right, that was Connor Harrington, and we will go and talk to Justin Weaver. There we go. See, I'm figuring this whole chat thing out. Justin, congrats on the 3rd place. Tell us about your night, man. That early pit stop, that really worked out in your favor.
Yeah, that early pit stop definitely helped me out quite a bit. Me and Mike were talking about we're going to pit there, and I saw a couple guys in front of me pit. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to throw it in here, get fresh tires here and just, off a little different strategy than most people were. So, came in, got some tires, and next thing you know, I'm just slicing and dicing up through the field, and we're having this long green flag run. Next thing you know, man, I got a I got a 6 second lead up there, just cruising, man, and got the race exactly where I want it. Having a nice night, and unfortunately, that caution flag came out, kind of reset things about there. But man, that pit call was clutch there. It really helped me get up there to get the finish that I got tonight.
Yeah, I mean, at one point we looked down and you were really sailing, and I think I saw the beard underneath the helmet flapping in the breeze. So I was wondering if that was hurting the downforce for you. But a really good season overall. I have a sneaky suspicion we'll be talking to you here a little bit more in the extended post race coverage. Really quick, any final shout outs you want to send out right now?
Yeah, first off, Brian, we missed you on the racetrack tonight, but you got a little you got a little second calling here to the booth here. You sound pretty awesome. First off, I want to thank Dickie and Gina at Moby Dickie's. I really appreciate them putting their name on the car. We're working on contract talks for future sponsorship though, and I really appreciate them putting their name on the car. And I want to thank my good friend Mike Goodman there, my teammate Mike Goodman. He really, I couldn't do this without him. He's just one hell of a guy, and it's such a joy to race with him. I want to congratulate Adam on the championship, and of course Dan for the win tonight. And I moved up to fifth in points tonight, and got the Rookie of the Year. So I'm really, really, very, very pleased, and we're ready to go for next year.
Hey, there you go, buddy. We will see you here and catch you on down the road there. Probably not too terribly long, but yeah, we'll talk to you later here, Justin.
Hi, Brian. Appreciate it, man.
Okay, absolutely. All righty. So with that being said, we're going to take a very quick break. We're going to gum down from the booth, and we're going to hang out here with all of our friends that were just racing tonight. Like I said, kids, stay tuned. We've got a lot of shows still coming. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Like I said, that was only a very quick break. We are back. Like I said, we got the end of the year party. So everybody's going to we're having fun. We're going to give some money, some prizes, some hardware. I think I saw someone was wearing a lampshade. So that's going to get real interesting here real quick. without further ado, George, league founder, a leader extraordinaire, kind of give us some intro here, buddy.
Thanks, Brian. Just wanted to say, first off, thank you to our primary sponsor for the IndyCar Series this year, First Medical Equipment. Thank you for their support and their sponsorship, as well as all of our secondary and additional sponsors for this year. So on behalf of our sponsors, myself, the members, the league, I'd like to present Adam Blocker with the 2018 Lionheart IndyCar Series Championship. Congratulations, Adam.
Yeah, thank you, George. It's been a really long season, but yeah, I want to thank all the admin team and the sponsors for making the series possible. But second, I want to thank Andrew and Dan for the great fight throughout the season. I mean, it was close at the end, and I mean, we fought each other hard throughout the whole season. We didn't really have any dust ups along the way, so it was a pretty clean championship. Yeah, I just did what I had to do tonight. I was surprised I got pole over Dan. I mean, that's saying a lot that that's probably my best pole ever because I know Dan and Goodman, they're really good at qualifying on the oval. So I really shocked myself getting that pole, and that kind of set up my whole night. Just running up front all night and staying within the window I had to, and playing it conservative. So yeah, really happy with my performance, and yeah, just want to thank the league organizers and everyone else again.
Well, we definitely congratulate you. It was certainly a hard-fought season. You deserve to be the champion. You had a record 6 poles and 9 wins. You were part of pretty much just about every closest finish in the Lionheart record book. So you definitely you had to fight for this championship, and it's well-deserved. Again, congratulations, Adam Blocker, on a fantastic season. You're the champ.
Nice job, Adam.
Congrats.
Very well done.
Awesome job, Adam.
Adam, this is going to sound pretty familiar, but we just spoke a little while ago, a couple weeks ago, actually. And it's proud for me to, as on behalf of HPP Simulation, to not only did I give you pedals a couple weeks ago, now I get you the fancy new HPP HSW-F wheel. You are going to get a kick out of this thing, man. So like I said a couple weeks ago, just an absolute mark of consistency, mark of performance, which are cornerstones of HPP. So from HPP Simulation, congratulations, Adam. You've not only got the new set of pedals coming, and now you got the new wheel. Now I think you just got to get more than one monitor. I think that's your next upgrade, right?
Yeah. First, I want to thank HPP for their support of the series and the prizes they've offered. Yeah, definitely with the new hardware, I'm planning on upgrading my rig so that not racing on single monitor anymore. Probably going to VR, so definitely looking forward to that for next year. But yeah, the HPP hardware is definitely a big step for that, and can't wait to use it.
George, what all does Mr. Blocker take home besides the wheel?
Well, along with the wheel, he's getting $300. He's got a custom trophy from PlasmaTracks.com. He's going to have a hardcover book, some prints, and some other goodies. Some coasters from Viva Motorsport and a rocket from Lock Precision. So a nice little care package for your efforts this season. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, George.
And Brandon, I know Brandon's around here somewhere. Brandon gets to present the award for the First Medical Equipment Dan Weldon Driver of the Year. Brandon, take it away.
Hello, Mr. Yazik, and all my other fine folks. It's my 15 minutes of fame for the year. This is right. This is the third installment of First Medical's Driver of the Year award. And as I've said in previous years, this particular award is not based on driver ability or accomplishments on the track. It's a bit of a feel-good award and a thank you in recognition of people who make the league tick, and without them, Lionheart would be just a little bit darker. So year one was our beloved Patrick that we still miss to this day, and he still comes up in conversation on the regular. When we say he will be forever missed, we meant it. We still do, and we still keep his memory alive in our hearts, and he is in on our minds often. Um, Year 2 was our grand poobah and leader, George, who couldn't possibly get enough recognition for the work he puts in. All of his free time is consumed with making this a better place to race, and he believes in it and its members almost to a fault. Big hearts, open minds, dedicated work, and a drive to excel are all hallmarks of what First Medical feels are notable points to recipients of the Driver of the Year award. Both previous selections were true to the standard, and they deserved their star on the Lionheart Walk of Fame. I like to try and keep this award secret from George, even though he really hates that I do that. And I even have to throw some curveballs throughout the season to throw him off my trail. Obviously, last year was really hard with him being the guy. But this year, I'm going to give it away just in the description. You guys will absolutely know before I'm even done. This recipient could almost be considered the Lionheart mascot. Everyone looks forward to his company, and you can hear the smile in his voice when he speaks. He's humble with a giant heart and will always be there with a helping hand, whether that be to actually help you succeed or give you a pat on the back. He truly gets joy from knowing that he helped you both on the track and in life. I think probably half the league at least has his actual physical phone number and call him just for a pick me up or discuss his take on things. If you ever need a hug, real or virtually, you can count on him to be there for you. People know that, and it's time he was recognized for it as well. It's easy to hear his voice in your head with his iconic "Yay!" and or "Hi guys," and he just brings joy, comfort, and ease to those who let him. First Medical would like to recognize Dan Guerin as the third recipient of the Driver of the Year award. And on a personal note, I'm very proud to call him my teammate, but most of all, my friend. Congratulations, Dano.
Absolutely.
Hey,
Very cool.
congratulations, Dan.
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
There you go, Dano.
I have. Who's cutting onions up in here? God dang it, Brandon. I wasn't quite sure. I'm like, okay, well, that matches the description of such and such. And then you're like, yeah. Like, oh, boy. Yep, there's some more work.
Dan, all right, Dan, that just shows you right there Dan's modesty, because as soon as Brandon said the first description, I knew who it was.
It took me 2 hugs, but it worked.
I'm literally speechless. I don't even know what I can say. Thanks to everybody. I love all you guys. You guys are fantastic. I look forward to our annual meetup just for the fact that everybody gets a hug, right, buddy?
Absolutely.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It's gonna be an awesome time again this year. But I'm just dumbfounded right now. I just really don't know what to say. But thank you, and thank you everybody. Thank you to League, and this is awesome.
Well, there you go. It's the man, the words of the man who just won the Driver of the Year. Congratulations, Dan. You because Brandon missed all this, so I'm gonna pick up here. You get looks like a little bit of some cash. Looks like a plaque. There's a Dan Weldon book coming your way. Some trading cards. A Tales from the Indy 500 book. Some prints. Some 100th running of the Indy 500 shirt, some hats, some poster, and you get a rocket too from Lock Precision. So you better come back next season with 10 fingers and not 9 to 7. Like, can we just promise that?
I can't make any promises. I still got a rocket downstairs that I won earlier in the season, but the prizes are great and fantastic and all that, but just bragging rights on a lot of this and knowing that one is chosen for that particular award. I'm just speaking.
Well, there you go. Dave Cordy, you get to present the Butt Kicker Rookie of the Year award. So, Mr. Cordy, take it away.
He's absent. I'm going to take his place on this
Okay,
one
George
here,
is
guys.
going to take over.
Yeah, so Butt Kicker came on this year for the first time as a sponsor for the Lionheart Racing Series. We were so very happy to have them. So this year for the IndyCar, they were presenting our Rookie of the Year award. They provide products that produce haptic immersion, and our drivers have to be fully immersed if they're going to compete at the highest level. And this year, the Rookie of the Year, Justin Weaver, competed at the highest level. He had an amazing battle with Steven Larkamp all season long. They were neck and neck through the points all year. They were on track together. They raced each other clean but hard. But for 2018, Justin Weaver has taken this award. And so we'd like to congratulate, on Butt Kicker's behalf, Justin Weaver as the 2018 Rookie of the Year.
And if I may say myself, Justin, well deserved, my man. It's been a phenomenal season racing with you. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, Steven. I really appreciate it, man. It was really fun battling with not only you and all the other guys in the league, and I'm truly blessed to have this honor there. And I appreciate everybody in the league and the league staff and all the sponsors and everything. It's pretty awesome to win the award here.
Now, George, I've always wanted to say this. Tell him what he's won.
Well, so you'll actually have your choice of a game or two or the simulation kit by Butt Kicker. So depending on the setup of your rig, you'll have a couple choices to add that. You'll get some prints, kind of the same things here. You get some hardcover book, a lot of swag, and you'll also be getting a rocket. So the big thing in the off season here is we have to come back with all our fingers, like Brian said. But again, congratulations, Justin. You deserve it.
All right, thank you, George, and thanks everybody.
All righty, then I get to take over here for a little bit. The team champions presented by HPP Simulation. We've kind of headed off at the very early part of the broadcast. Adrenaline Motorsports, Chris Stouffer, Adam Blocker, Andrew Kinsella, Joe Branch, Tony Showen. You all ran a very good year from your overall stats standpoint. I mean, you guys, there's always one of you hovering around in the top 5, top 10. Which really, when it comes down to that points and that team standing, really kind of separated you guys out from the pack. So I don't know who is going to take the credit for being the guru of that. Going to be Andrew. Are you going to take credit for this?
I don't really think that any of us can take credit. It was truly a team effort this season, from myself, Adam, Chris, Joe, Tony, and our satellite driver, Joe Flanagan. We worked so well together every single race. There's definitely a full team effort going into every race, whether it was cooperating on strategy, talking our way through traffic, telling each other what's going on all over the track. It's truly a pleasure to work with everyone at Adrenaline. And I'm so happy that we were able to take home this title, and Adam was able to take home the championship as well. Even to the last bit, we were all still working on strategy right up until the last minute, just making sure that he was going to get home. And that's just the team spirit that we have at Adrenaline, and it's a privilege to work with everyone on the whole team.
Well, there you go. You get a bunch of stuff, and the big part that scares me is the set of, and I'm reading this right off of the description, the set of 5 Big Nuke Mini PK-82 rocket kits, one to each member of the team. Again, everybody keep your fingers for next season.
Your beard's intact.
I'm going to get to your level, Justin. I haven't touched mine, never groomed it in a little while. We're getting there. But you also get some money across the board. You get a custom team championship poster and the Rockets. So, I mean, that's great. So congratulations once again to Adrenaline Motorsports. Pierre Dagle. Pierre.
That's right. That's fine. I'm not going to be too hard on you. So now it's time to give away our most prestigious side award, I would say. It's our longest standing award. We've been giving it out since season 1. It's the Cleanest Driver Award presented by Lock Precision. And this year, the winner, who was most consistent and less involved in incidents, was James Krahula with only 24 incidents over the 21 counted races this year. So congrats, James. You win $75, a plaque, an 8.5 by 11 print, a trading card set, a book from the Indy 500, a shirt from the 100 running of the Indy 500, an Indy 500 hat, and also, once again, a rocket. And I don't need to remind everybody that we want all 10 fingers starting in 2019. So congrats, James.
Oh my God, this just gave me the best idea ever. I'm going to blow up this piece of crap computer with this new Lock Precision rocket. That's going to be the best idea ever.
Absolutely.
And guys,
I'm going to make a joke that
If you live stream that would be incredible.
You get some
we
viewers
might
for that.
do this.
And I'm going to make a joke that I think only James in this room is going to understand. I think the 100th T-shirt that you're getting, it's not a bootleg that was bought in the parking lot.
I can. But really, can I talk about how cool this award is? I mean, I'm absolutely honored to get this award. This award really does mean a lot to me. This is something that I take very seriously to race my competitors clean on the track, to race fairly, but to race hard. You can ask Dan. We've had plenty of good battles this year, but how hard we get to race with each other. Same thing with Michael Goodman, and how hard we get to race, and the fact that we still have, that I can still come out and we don't have these incidents and everything. This really does mean a lot, especially in this group, because holy crap, you guys are some hard people to race around, and y'all are clean, and it's just, this really does mean a lot, and I'm very, very humbled to get this.
Now we're going to move on to let's see,
the Iron Man.
We're going back to Pierre, the Iron Man Award. I was jumping around there.
The Ironman Award is every year awarded to the driver who's completed the most miles over the course of the season. So the winner this year, we didn't count the drop weeks, and the winner, who ran a total of 4,592.8 miles, is Matthew Mercer. Congratulations, Matt. You win a 100 running shirt, an Indy 500 hat, a print, 2 custom-built button boxes, and once again, a Lock Precision rocket.
Thank you, Pierre, and thank you, everybody in the Lionheart League. It's definitely a nice and fun, long season. I mean, just had to be consistent and make every inch count.
Nice job, Matt.
All right, so now Tyler Graff, the Cleanest Team Award, presented by Graphics, and I'm just saying that because the 2 A's. I gotta have fun with you. So Tyler, take it away.
Yeah, so the Cleanest Team Award, they get 5 custom paints for next season, and that goes to Dragonfly. I don't have in front of me what their incidents were, but them winning this award means they had the least. So. There we go.
176 combined as a team.
There 176 cents.
Well, that's surprising. Thank you. We appreciate it. I don't know if Robert's in here or not. There's so many people in here. But yeah, it just that I didn't have really a speech for this because I didn't expect it. Thank you. Thank you to Lionheart and all the other drivers for being clean. And yeah, it was just a matter of consistency and trying to stay out of trouble.
Robert would be a very happy camper.
Yeah, he'll be happy to find this one out. That's cool.
Also, Tyler, we're gonna stick around with you, and you're going to introduce the Turning Point Award. That's a pretty good one too.
Yeah, so the Turning Point Award is basically the driver that's made the most up at the midpoint of the season. This year it goes to Chris Stouffer. I believe he got 1 win at Gateway, and then climbed the points quite a bit after the halfway point of the season. And he also gets a free custom paint for next season.
Well, thanks for that. You know, went and turned a point award. I can't. I'm actually very surprised I did, considering I actually hit the wall and wrecked out tonight. So it's kind of weird accepting an award after wrecking out of a race. But you know, hopefully next season, instead of having a good second half, hopefully we can just have a good season all around and make something happen there. But you know, I appreciate the award and you know, everything that George does, everybody, all the sponsors, everything. It's amazing how far this league has came since I've been in it. So really appreciate the award and you know, appreciate the league and have fun racing all you guys. Very good. It's getting harder every year. The competition keeps getting better and better. So you know, it's proud to be a part of this league. That's for sure.
If I can add, really quick, I have some information here in front of me. So, coming into Auto Club, you gained 12 positions from your first half, and you also had a difference of 149 points ahead coming into Auto Club. So, the biggest one was your win, and that's very significant. You've also had wins in the last few seasons, so the consistency is there. You've definitely been turning it up in the second half of the season, and I'm sure coming into 2019, you'll be ready to put it all together for a full season. But again, congratulations, Chris. You did a really great job here in the second half.
Thank you.
Nice job, Chris.
Congrats, Chris.
Chris, don't take my theory next year where I started it really good and then I just bombed as the season went on. So you talk about starting out strong. Don't do what I did.
Same.
So with that, you know, I think we got some prizes going out that way. Now, this is kind of a fun one. So the next season's schedule announcement, Pierre George. Tell everybody where we're going to be racing next year.
Pierre, why don't you take this one here, bud?
Alrighty, so I'm not going to give away the whole schedule. When it comes to the ovals, we're going for consistency. So most of all the ovals you've seen on the schedule this year will be back. What I want to mention though is the new stuff that's going to be on the schedule. So first of all, we're going to start the season with the All-Star race on February 27th. And we'll be at The Rock, and no, I don't mean Dwayne Johnson's house, but I mean Rockingham Speedway in North Carolina. And the official season will start on March 6th at Homestead, which is a tradition, and will also end at Auto Club on the 18th of December. Now, the new stuff we have on the schedule, a very interesting event on May 22nd. We're going to go on a little island in front of Detroit called Belle Isle Park, and we're going to do a duel, just like the real IndyCar series. So we're going to run two 75-mile races that night for a total of 32 laps there. Our Indy 500 is going to be on July 13th, and we're going back to Barber on July 24th. That's a new addition to the schedule. We're also going to take a trip to Europe for Monza. We're going to go to Monza, so all those cars with almost no downforce, tons of speed, going to be super interesting. And the other new addition is Laguna Seca. We're going to go there, and not to mention that for the first time since season 2, we are not going to Sonoma. So this is pretty much the new stuff that we're going to have on the schedule for next year.
Well, Pierre, I guess I'll just have to find a different track to wreck you at than Sonoma.
All right,
Don't
so
remind me of those bad memories.
There you see the 2019 schedule on your screen, the double points, the Triple Crown. It is going to be fun next year. Every single race will be right here on the Global Sim Racing channel and the iRacing Esports Network. George, send us out here from the promoter side, the owner side. Give us a little bit there.
Well, once again, I would just like to thank all of our sponsors, our drivers, our partners, especially here too at GSRC, for all the work that you guys have done. Again, want to thank our title sponsors for both IndyCar and Retro Series, First Medical Equipment and HPP, and all the additional sponsors that came on: Butt Kicker, the Sim Pit, Clipping That Apex, PlasmaTracks.com, Lock Precision, Graphics, Guys Games and Beer, Viva Motorsport, SimSport News, iRacing and the iRacing Esports Network, Iwars Candies, and the amass amounts of additional secondary sponsors, all of our race sponsors for this season. All of these people and these companies allowed us to do what we do here at Lionheart. Without them, without our drivers, we don't have a league. So again, I thank everyone for their support. Also would like to thank my admin team. These guys work tirelessly behind the scenes. They've helped push this vision that I've had for this league forward. Again, without them and their work and their efforts, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. So again, with that, I'd like to thank everybody involved here at Lionheart. Really looking forward to 2019. We're going to have a great off season with our challenge series. We're going to run the Nissan GTP over the next 8 weeks. Should be a lot of fun. And we're also, again, we're looking to bring on some new drivers. So drivers hopeful to try to make it into the series. This would be a good time now to reach out, and we'll see if we might have some new rookies joining our series for 2019. But right now we're looking forward to a little bit of downtime, mostly for the drivers. We're going to be busy behind the scenes trying to make this league bigger and better for 2019. So again, on behalf of everyone involved at Lionheart, thanks again to everyone involved, and again to those that have stuck with us and have viewed our races across 2018 and have been with us since the beginning. So thanks again, everyone. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, George.
Thanks, George.
Thank you.
The admin team.
Yeah, I just want to say the admin team really wants to say thank you to George. He is the leader and the driver of this league, and we would not be where we are without George Anzaldo. You are the singular person who has driven this. So from the bottom of our hearts, and I'm sure everyone in the league, thank you for what you do.
Well said, Andrew.
Yep, kudos, George. Hell of a job, George. Great
I
job.
just want to say
One other little pat on the back, if you don't mind. Sorry, Dan.
Oh, go ahead.
Is to Andrew, because that just reminded me as you were blowing George's head up. I want to blow yours up a little bit, because you have worked really hard giving us sets that we can all drive and are all favorable of, and we all give you input. And I know it's a lot of work for you to keep up with that and to try and actually make everybody happy. So really, thank you for keeping us on the track.
Yes, sir. Immensely.
Thanks,
That is
Brandon. It's a
exactly what
pleasure.
I was going to say. So
Yes.
It's a pleasure making sets for this league. I love this league and I love the competition here. So here's looking at 2019 with even more great sets and a great season of racing ahead.
It's cutting onions again.
All right. So with all that, all the awards are done. Once again, someone's wearing a lampshade in the corner, so I'm not sure. We should probably get someone to check on that.
Sorry.
I think
I'm all right.
we're gonna send it. I think we're gonna send it off the air for one final time here in the 2018 season. So Amjad, roll that beautiful end credit footage. Give a shout out to Brian Beard and Gray Matter for sponsoring the race tonight. Brandon Limkeman, First Medical Equipment for the season-long sponsorship. Our series organizer, fearless leader, overall wonderful person, George Anzaldo, for organizing us, keeping us all in check. There you see on the screen all the different sponsors that we have here. We all have different promotions with them, so go to lionheartracing.com. You can check that all out. Thank you for the software, the hardware that we use on all of our broadcasts that you can see here, also listed on your screen with that magic little transition that you see right there. Thanks to the team today, Richie, Amjad, Dougie, Soup, we miss you. Hope everything's going to be okay for you. If you'd like to find out more about the Global Sim Racing Channel, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com, along with archived races and upcoming broadcasts. We are also on Twitter at GSRC or GSR channel. That's a weird thing to say. And also at Facebook at facebook.com/Global Sim Racing channel. Special thank you to Eric Ekholm and June Lalonde, who both provide music for our broadcasts. Their music can be found on the locations listed on the screen as well. Next race for the iRacing Esports Network, you come on right back tomorrow. Precision Racing League at Circuit de Spa. That's the Radicals. That's going to be a heck of a show. The next Lionheart race, you heard it in the pre-race or in the little post-race show. We're going to go to Rockingham, which I'm going to blame Scott Bolster for that because he said we could do it, and he showed us doing it in the Lionheart chat months ago. We also have other upcoming races on the screen to check out, so mark them down on your calendar, add them to your calendar, and always just keep an eye on social media and keep everything all happy. Until next time, may your right foot stay planted and your connections stay stable. Thank you very much for watching. Good night, everybody.